Penguin's not even on there, and the hat is on. Hold on. Sorry, team. I got distracted because the hotel that I used to work at, which really was kind of a motel, has like changed, and it looks incredibly nice now. Which is confusing because from what I remember, that hotel was not going to get changed for a very long time. I just need to see it for myself. There's no way that this hotel, they're not showing the whole room, so I'm like, I'm so suspicious. It's been like 2 years since I've worked here. I mean, they definitely upgraded it. It still looks the same though. It's just new sheets. The carpet looks the same. The backdrop is different. They got rid of the, oh thank God they got rid of the backdrop for the thing. There's the pool. Oh, they upgraded the bathrooms. No, this is not the, this is the big room. Yeah, the playground in the back. This hotel is still the same. There's no way. That's not even their bar. That's just the bar that they... That's crazy. This is crazy. This is wild. This is a lot. This is a lot for me to take in. That doesn't click to... That doesn't click with me. At all. I mean, they could put just a mirror there and be fine with it. But that's not... That's a digital. That's digital. That's not even a physical, actual picture. Is it what it's going to be, or it's what it is now? Five-star amenities. It's not even a... We're not even a starred hotel. Okay, I don't know. I just... I'm not gonna say the name of the hotel, obviously, for privacy reasons, but like... What? Like, there's no fucking way. They couldn't have done all of that work so quickly. Okay, anyway. Fuck. This is the defendant lobby, alright? But there's no defendant. I've been trying to reach Lana all morning. Where could she be? And where's Emma, for that matter? It's almost as if something's been happening behind the scenes. Oh, sorry. Something's been happening behind the scenes. Edgeworth. Knowing you, you've already figured it out. Who the owner of 7777777 ideas? Well, I have a pretty strong hunch. Looks like I'm not the only one who's figured it out. You know, the only reason this trial didn't reach a verdict yesterday is because there was still room for doubt regarding this ID record. If that number does belong to whom you suspect, then no doubt will remain. After all, he hasn't been officially charged with anything. True, not yet. In any event, once all doubt has been removed from the list, I can call for a ruling. 5 minutes, Wright, and Chief Prosecutor Skye will be found guilty. But she didn't do it. I figured you'd say as much. That's why I came here, to hear what you have to say. This is the first time he's ever done something like this. Lana's hiding something, and the only way we'll never know the truth is to draw it out of her. The truth. Everything goes back to the SL9 incident. Don't be stupid. Today's the last day of the trial. We don't have time to reminisce about the past. That depends on you. If she's found guilty, you'll lose your only chance to find out what really happened. I'll think about it. See you in court, Wright. Are they allowed to just discuss the case with each other? I feel like that's not allowed. This is it. If we're going to find out what Chief Gant has on her, it's now. February 25, 10 a.m., District Court Room number 9. Ooh, no Emma on our side. The defense isn't here. Court is now in session for the trial of Miss Lana Skye. The defense is ready, Your Honor. The prosecution is ready, Your Honor. Normally, this is when the prosecution puts forth its opening statement. But before that, the police chief has a proposal to make. Chief Gant? Well, howdy there. I'm here to fuck up your world. Good morning, folks. How's everyone doing? Hey, Udgy. Been back to the pool yet? Why are they talking about the pool? No, I've been drowning enough as it is in my work. Oh, that's a good one. Don't think I can top that. If you don't mind me asking, Chief, exactly what is the proposal of yours? Ugh, slow talk animation. Lana, that is to say, the defendant, has asked me if she could speak directly to the court. She wants to do what? Haven't heard what she intends to say. I feel she should be granted her request. In the end, it should save everyone a lot of time and trouble. Rip, she's just gonna say that she did it all, and we're gonna have to contradict her. What's all this about, defendant? I'd just like to take one simple request, and I'll be finished. Well then, what's your request? Your Honor, I'd like you to put an immediate end to this trial. Sorry, I'm not using her voice, huh? I confess to all charges against me. On February 21 of this year, I murdered Detective Bruce Goodman in the underground parking lot of the prosecutor's office. No, Lana! Lana! Thank you, Mr. Wright. I need to put an announcement that I am streaming. I don't do this enough. And I know it probably spams people as well. Last chapter. And stream of lawyer stuff. I feel bad about it, but I gotta signal it somehow. I'm barely posting on the socials. You can't. Your Honor, the defendant's claim does not change the defense's plea. In that case, Mr. Wright, I no longer require your services. But Lana, Your Honor, I hereby forfeit my right to an attorney. The prosecution may lack direct evidence against me, but it has sufficiently proven its case through testimony and circumstantial evidence. I would like you to render your verdict now, if you please. Well, the defendant certainly has the right to self-representation. Her request is legally valid, although this is an unprecedented situation. Indeed, it appears there's no further need to continue this trial, even if Mr. Wright may feel otherwise. This can't be happening. It appears the time for the verdict has arrived. This court finds the defendant... Hold it. One moment, Your Honor. Mr. Edgeworth. The prosecution has not yet proven the defendant guilty beyond reasonable doubt. Any ruling at this stage would certainly be premature. Come now, Worthy. Sorry, the voice. I'm not looking at the names. I understand this is a difficult time for you. But why don't you keep your good little boy? Why don't you just be a good little boy and keep your mouth shut? I don't think I care for your tone, Chief Gant. What? Creating another fabrication to cover up your past mistakes. Sorry, but I'm no longer the naive little boy you would have me be. Oh, so, okay. Maybe I was wrong about Emma being the murderer. No, but then why else would she keep that over her and have the handprint and have the piece from the vase, the vase, whatever you want to call it. Still, I would believe that it's still the same. I still believe Emma's still the murderer from the SL9 incident, or at least for the case of what's Marshall's name? It wasn't Jake Marshall. Neil Marshall. Excuse me. Neil's autopsy report. With the sudden confession from the defendant, it's obvious to me some kind of deal was struck behind the scenes. Some kind of deal, Not everyone operates as you do, Worthy. I thought so. Your Honor, the prosecution would like to change its first witness. Oh, to whom? As its first witness, the prosecution would like to call Miss Emma Skye. I request the court hears her testimony. Mr. Edgeworth, I am exercising my right to self-representation. I don't think we need to continue. I don't care what you think, Miss Skye. The exposure of truth sometimes results in tragedy. However, no matter how tragic the truth may be, It would be an even greater tragedy to avert one's eyes from it. Well, I'm gonna take a thing because my stomach is messed up. Very well. The court shall grant the prosecution's request. That's okay with you, right, Chief Gant? Worthy, you'll live to regret this, mark my words. Miss Emma Sky, please take the stand. Damn. Looks like Edgeworth has decided to take the horse by the reins. Let's see where this goes. Now then, witness, please state your name and occupation. My name is Emma Sky. My occupation? I'm Lana's little sister, and I want to be a scientific investigator. 2 years ago, you encountered the serial killer Joe Dark of the Joe Dark killings. Is this correct? Yes. I'm trying my hardest to forget about that, though. I'm sorry, but I'm afraid I'm going to have to ask you to recall those events one more time. Mr. Edgeworth, please remember, this trial concerns the murder of Detective Goodman. Is an incident that was resolved 2 years ago really all that relevant? Yes, it most certainly is. Well, okay then. Wow, he sure gave it fast. Now, please testify what happened to you 2 years ago. Whew, we have to cross-examine this shit. The trip to yesteryear has finally begun. It's bound to lead to the truth behind this trial. Or I guess the way they want to read it. It's bound to lead to the truth behind this trial. I was waiting in my sister's office that day. A man came running in and took me hostage. Neil Marshall rescued me. But I'll never forget what I saw in that instant. The man raised up his knife and stabbed Mr. Marshall in the chest. It's a good thing you weren't harmed. I passed out and I don't remember much. That's understandable. However, please tell me, Mr. Edgeworth, what does this testimony have to do with Detective Goodman's murder? That will soon become apparent, Your Honor. You got to admire him for his courage, considering he has no evidence. Very well. The defense may begin its cross-examination. Fucking hell, we have to pressure Emma? I was waiting in my sister's office that day. 2 years ago, the defendant was a detective at the police department, correct? Yes, she was second in command under the Deputy Chief of Police, Gant. My sister, she was the best detective ever. Yes, I remember. Deputy Chief Gant and Miss Sky used to be quite the pair. I believe they shared the same office. That's right. I'd always sit at my sister's desk and dream about playing that organ. I wanted to play it that day too. The police department and the prosecutor's office held a ceremony that day. Lana promised to take me to dinner after she finished her work. He came running in and took me hostage. A man? Yes, Joe Dark. He was a serial killer. Joe Dark was brought in for questioning on the day of that ceremony. We were desperate to get anything on him that would lead to an arrest. When he saw his chance, he fled the room, correct? Upon fleeing the room, Dark proceeded to take the elevator. He must have been in panic because the elevator was going up. Then he ran into Sky in Gant's office. There was a lot of noise coming from outside, so I opened up the door to have a look. That's when I saw him. Neil Marshall rescued me. What is the prosecutor doing there? That day, there were two people present during Drake's questioning. Deputy Chief Damon Gant and Prosecutor Neil Marshall. Almost forgot about Gant. Neil Marshall had just received the King of Prosecutors Award. Young and dedicated, he went straight to the questioning room after the ceremony. I assumed that would also be why he was the first to run after Dark. When Dark grabbed me, I thought I was as good as dead. And that's when Prosecutor Marshall came running in. I don't clearly remember what happened then, but I'll never forget what I saw that instant. Can you tell us about that? Mr. Marshall jumped on Dark just then. The lights went out. The lights? It was just about this time of year. There was a terrible storm going on and lightning struck nearby. So the electricity went out. Wait a minute. If it was pitch dark in that room, you shouldn't have been able to see anything, right? Right, but just then the lightning flashed again outside. That sudden flash left an unforgettable image of the scene in my mind. I see. I told the detective about what I saw then. The detective? Yes, Detective Goodman. He was in charge of the case. Detective Bruce Goodman, the victim. Hear more. So you spoke with Detective Goodman about this 2 years ago? Yes. That was so scary. That's what's so scary about this trial. And you told Detective Goodman about what you saw? Yes, but at the time the words just wouldn't come out. That's why I drew a picture. Picture, yeah, I think she mentioned it before. Well, Mr. Wright, have you heard enough? Ask about the picture. This picture the witness drew. I believe it has very important meaning. But the list of evidence I was given 2 years ago didn't contain a picture. Witness, would you mind if we added this statement to your testimony? Yeah, Your Honor. I drew a picture of the scene once, but it seems to have been lost. That's the contradiction. But she believes it could have been lost. You drew a picture of the scene you witnessed, right? Yes, I wanted to do everything I could to help the investigation. I can see it now, whenever I close my eyes. That's strange. I took over the case after Prosecutor Marshall died. Yet I never received any picture. Perhaps the witness is mistaken? But I did draw it, I swear, I'm not just imagining it. This picture's the image that reminds me. I guess I should check the evidence again. Well, anyway, let's continue. The scene that imprinted on the image in your mind. Can you please describe it to us? The man raised up his knife and stabbed Mr. Marshall in the chest. That must have been a real shock. Even now, when I close my eyes, I can still see it just as clearly. Tell us, what were you doing at that moment? I believe you testified that Joe Dark was holding you hostage? When the lights struck and the lights went out, Mr. Marshall jumped on Dark. I was thrown aside, then the two began wrestling each other. I'm pretty sure I was watching them. Emma doesn't have any reason to lie, but Lana sure does. I need to get Emma to tell me as much as she can about this. Cool. Just gonna rotate it. Cool. Easy. This is the evidence. Mr. Edgeworth. This little girl put all her heart into drawing that picture. And yet, you would insist in denying its existence. Huh? Hey, I'm not the bad guy. All I'm saying is that as the prosecutor for that case, I wasn't handed such a picture. That may well be, but that doesn't mean it doesn't exist. Behold, this is the evidence list of the SL9 incident. Please turn it over, Your Honor. Turn it over. Ah, what's this? 90 degrees, sir. Yes, what is this? Hey, that's it. That's the picture I drew. Oh, she's wearing boots too. Indeed, two men appear to be wrestling here. What's the meaning of this? What are you doing with that list? Me? Only prosecutor in charge should have access to that list. Huh. These lists, they're different from each other. What? It would appear, Mr. Edgeworth, that the evidence list you were handed 2 years ago was incomplete. These two lists fit together to form one. You can see the marks here where they were torn apart from each other. So you see, Mr. Edgeworth, it's quite obvious what happened. 2 years ago, only half the evidence in that case ever reached you. What? What? Order, order. But Miss Skye, why did you draw your picture in the back of such an important list? Because that's what Detective Goodman handed me in the questioning room, Your Honor. Wait a minute. If this list was torn in half, that means... Your Honor, I don't know what that means, Phoenix. Phoenix, work with me here. Are you alright, Mr. Wright? Your eyes are bulging from your head. If the evidence list was torn in half, then there might be more of the drawing on the back of Mr. Edgeworth's list. Yes, that's quite conceivable, Mr. Edgeworth. It's possible. Let's see. They haven't bothered to look at the back of a page? Is something wrong? Do you even have to ask? Sorry, Your Honor. There's indeed something drawn at the back of my list. It's this thing. What? Why? That's that thing. The blue badger! That thing that was dancing in the evidence room. Clearly, this act of vandalism is the work of a certain chief of detectives. I guess he was out of scrap paper? Very well, witness. List of evidence. Gant's desk. Oh, it's this. The unstable jar. Nope. Nope, that's not the unstable jar at all. It couldn't be. That's too weird. It's too distinct a shape. It has to be the blue badger. Will you please testify about this picture you drew 2 years ago? Huh? Oh, yes, Your Honor. What's wrong with Emma? She seemed to be thinking about something when she was looking at the picture. Emma's picture. This is the picture I drew 2 years ago. The flash of lightning was so bright, all I could see were 2 shadows. After that, I must have fainted. This picture shows exactly what I saw in that instant. To think a flash of lightning could burn such an image in your mind. Thanks to that, though, she was able to show us exactly what she saw. Well, I don't see any contradictions here. This clearly shows Joe Dark about to murder Prosecutor Neil Marshall. The defense may now begin its cross-examination. Well, we don't know who's who, because it was the flash of lightning. However, the light did come out, so we can, accept. Did you draw this picture right after the incident? I think I drew it 2 or 3 days later. At first, I was in such a state of shock that I couldn't do anything. During that time, the investigation team was reorganized. Detective Goodman was placed in charge, under the direction of Damon Gant and Lana Skye. 2 or 3 days later, the memory should still have been fresh in her mind. Excuse me, witness. But can you please tell us why this picture is painted all black? The flash of lightning was so bright, all I could see were shadows. Yep. So at the time you didn't even know it was Mr. Marshall who had come to your rescue. No, I couldn't see him clearly. The lightning was so bright I was knocked to the floor. You were knocked to the floor? Dark had a tight grip on me, but when Mr. Marshall jumped on him, I was knocked away. I turned around, and that's when the lightning flashed. Poor Emma. I'm just glad she wasn't hurt. What happened after the lightning flashed? After that, I must have fainted. You mean you didn't see the actual murder take place? No. I'm sorry. The flash of lightning only drove off the darkness for a split second. Not only that, but the trauma of the situation understandably caused the witness to faint. He's speaking from experience. Do we need to torture this girl any further? What? Hey, I'm not the bad guy here. Anyway, this picture. This picture shows exactly what I saw in that instant. Sorry for asking so many times, but are you sure you drew exactly what you saw? Of course, this is the exact scene. It wasn't influenced in any way from your talks with the detectives? There we go, that's a good objection. That's, Are you insinuating we somehow manipulated her memory, Mr. Wright? No, of course not. I better watch out or he might find some way to cut my salary. I drew this picture before I heard anything from the detectives, so I don't think anyone's story would have influenced me. Mr. Wright, is there something that's bothering you about this picture? Huh? Oh well. That's strange. She claims it's exactly the scene that was imprinted in her mind. Yet, there's clearly a contradiction here. What's the contradiction? That it wasn't a knife? A knife tip was in the wound. Would she have recognized the knife? Weapon found in wound was missing tip. Okay, I don't know what the contradiction is. That's just investigation notes. Oh, I'm so confused. Okay, I'm gonna save. After that, I must have fainted. I don't doubt the fainting. I'm gonna... Nope, that was wrong. What's the contradictory piece of evidence? Nope. Please think before you accuse. Yes, I understand. Yeah, I can't think of anything. I wasn't influenced in any way from your talks with the detective. So, you drew it, but why did you have this piece of paper? And yet, there's clearly a contradiction here. Maybe she drew the blue badger. That's not the correct one? So it's the knife. It is the knife. Stabbed in the back. Oh, because he's clearly facing the front. Damn it. That is why. Okay, I should read more. I should read better. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but this picture the witness drew contains a blatant contradiction. What? But I still remember it just like it was yesterday. Mr. Wright, perhaps it would be faster if you simply pointed out this contradiction for us. What part of this picture contradicts the autopsy? Oh, here. I think it's this part here. I don't see what's so strange about that. That because the drawing stinks? What? Excuse me? What? Was that not it? Stabbed in the back, died from punctured heart and lung. Is it the knife then? So I'm gonna do the objection. That's where we're gonna cut. That's where we're gonna start from. The contradiction, of course, lies here. Take a look at the knife the man is holding. If you look closely, you can see the tip is broken. Even I don't have to look closely to see that, Mr. Wright. But Mr. Wright, look at the evidence. See the murder weapon? The tip is broken too. If I recall, the tip of the knife was found broken off in the victim's body. It was an inclusive piece of evidence that proved Joe Dark was the murderer. I'm afraid it's not so simple, Emma. And where, pray tell, could you possibly see a problem? It's obvious, really. The victim suffered a single stab wound to the back. Why couldn't I have pointed that out? If the victim was only stabbed once, then the murder weapon should not yet be broken. Ah, what's the meaning of this? Perhaps the knife was broken beforehand. Sorry, but I'm afraid that's not possible. The tip of the knife was found inside the victim's body. If it is broken beforehand, it couldn't possibly wind up there. That's right, but what does this mean? The tip of the knife was undeniably discovered within the victim's body. The only possible explanation is the witness's memory is mistaken. That's why I asked her so many times if she was sure she was remembered correctly. I believe you were annoyed at the time, but she was sure she remembered correctly. But there's no other way to explain this inconsistency. Not so fast, Mr. Edgeworth. There is another explanation. Have you forgotten already about the little something called falsified evidence? You're treading on thin ice, Wright. All I'm saying is that this broken knife tip might be the piece of evidence that was forged. You can't deny the possibility. No. Ugh. Order, order. Are you saying the investigation was really corrupted? Your Honor, please allow me to once again go over the events that took place in the day of the murder. Please allow me to also save my progress, Your Honor. We are still gonna close everything up. It is getting dark. Blip, 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 blip. Yeah. Okay, we've saved. We're good. The police department and the prosecutor's office were holding a ceremony that day. After receiving the King of Prosecutors Award at the ceremony, Neil Marshall questioned Joe Dark along with Damon Gant. During his questioning, Joe Dark fled the room. The prosecutor marshal had chased after him and was killed by Dark. It's my belief that somewhere in the story there is a lie. I'm not lying. The man really was holding a broken knife. If that's true, then there's no other way around it. This couldn't have been the actual murder weapon. There must have been another broken knife. What are the chances of there being two broken knives? Another broken knife besides Joe Dark's? Could there have been one? I mean... I would like to say it's one of these, but... Could it have been a screwdriver? Save it the choice. Oh, they're saying the same thing. Let's say there is another one. If the witness is this adamant about the accuracy of what she saw, it can't just be explained away by a simple observational error. Mr. Wright. In that instant, Emma really did see a broken knife. I assume, then, that you have some information about this other broken knife. If so, please feel free to enlighten us all. The weapon is already broken prior to the murder. There's only one way. Take a look at this, the real murder weapon. So I'm not saying it's the vase. If anything's broken here, it's you. Huh? I'm sure this must all be very amusing to you, Mr. Wright, but may I remind you that the fate of Miss Lana Skye hangs in the balance. Sorry, Your Honor. Please give me another chance. What? It wasn't that? Bloop. Because they found the murder weapon in the muffler, or the scarf. Or the scarf in the muffler. Oh, fuck! Oh, God. Oh, I thought I thinged it. Usually an Edward's tool. So we know what this is from. This is exactly what it is. I guess we're saying the vase, right? What? Huh? What? Isn't this the real murder weapon? No, what? What's the real murder weapon? Oh my god! Excuse me. Oh my god. Yeah, it was the sword. But where's the sword? The answer lies in the past, 2 years in the past. Right here inside this picture. This picture of the award ceremony. Ah! What is it, Mr. Edgeworth? It's the broken murder weapon. Notice the award prosecutor marshal is holding. That's a broken knife. As we earlier concluded, the knife in the drawing was not Joe Dark's knife. That being the case, the knife the witness saw was in all likelihood from this award. So where is this knife? Order. Neil Marshall was awarded King of Prosecutors that day. As an award, he was given this broken shield and knife. When he chased after Joe Dark, he pulled out this knife. Being a prosecutor, he did not carry a pistol. This broken knife was the only weapon he had in this dangerous situation. That can't be. Oh, and why not, Mr. Edgeworth? Because if the King of Prosecutor award knife was the murder weapon, then the murderer and the victim would be reversed. What do you mean? I mean, the man raising a knife would have been Prosecutor Neil Marshall. Oh. Oh. But the prosecutor was the one who actually died. That's true. What's going on here? It seems Mr. Wright has just been a bit too eager to jump to conclusions. Wait. I remember now. I remember everything. Witness? Mr. Edgeworth. What is it? Could you show me your evidence list again, please? His list? The one with the picture scribbled on the back? I knew it. This picture, I'm the one who drew it. What? You drew that? That's right. The list wasn't torn in half at the time that I drew this picture. All this time I've been trying so hard to forget. I must have locked this part away deep inside. Perhaps it would be best if we added this to the witness's testimony. Would you please tell us what you recalled, Miss Skye? Yes, Your Honor. First the knife mix-up, and now the blue badger. This should be interesting. When I saw that man raise his knife, I panicked and rushed towards both of them. Oh my god, here we go. Fuck. I think I knocked away the man with the knife. Just then, there was another flash of lightning, and that's when I saw the blue badger. He wasn't in the room, but I'm sure I saw his shadow. You saw the blue badger? This certainly is most unusual. Try impossible. The chief of detectives hadn't even designed him until this year. Oh! Did we catch him out? The chief of detectives hadn't even designed. Yeah, designed. It needs to be past tense. Until this year. Hasn't even designed him. Hadn't even designed him. Is that incorrect? Or am I just illiterate? That'd mean he didn't even exist 2 years ago. Yes, well, the defense may now begin its cross-examination. Stop, please. Don't pursue this any further. Lana? What's the meaning of this? Please remain seated in the defendant's chair. But you can't do this. I've already confessed to the crime. Why can't you just leave it at that? Chief Prosecutor Sky. We've already come this far. It's too late to turn back. Silence. The defense will now begin its cross-examination. Bailiff, please detain the defendant. It seems we're finally getting to the core of the matter. Emma's recollection. When you say that man, I assume you refer to Joe Dark? Yeah, at least I think it was him. You think? All I could really see were shadows. The power outage that immediately preceded the incident. Is also documented in the prosecutor's office reports. Then you... I panicked and rushed towards both of them. Why would you do something so dangerous? What else could I have done? He was about to stab Mr. Marshall. She seems convinced that Dark was the one holding the knife. But we've all just, as we've theorized, Mr. Marshall was the one holding the knife. Well, I didn't know at the time. When that Dark guy knocked me down, all I could think was, I've got to help out that other person. I think I knocked away the man with the knife? What do you mean you think? It all happened so fast, and I was in shock. I didn't remember everything clearly. What I did is all kind of a blur. Miss Sky was almost killed before she was witness to the murder about to take place. With so much happening in a matter of seconds, a little disorientation is only natural. I saw the man about to stab the other person, who I thought was Mr. Marshall. I knew I had to stop the man with the knife. What you did was very brave, young girl. So then, what happened next? Just then there was another flash of lightning, and that's when I saw the Blue Badger. The Blue Badger? Are you sure about this? Of course, see? I even drew a picture of him here. But it was Chief of Detectives who brought this up, this hideous beast. That was just this year. The Blue Badger didn't exist 2 years ago. This is all quite verifiable. I know it sounds strange. I was surprised too when I saw him at the police department. I had this nagging feeling that I'd seen him somewhere before. Now I finally remember. Oh brother, just when you thought that this thing had caused enough commotion. Tell us, where in the room did you see him dancing? He wasn't in the room, but I'm sure I just saw his shadow. His shadow? So you mean you didn't actually see his face with its winning smile and all? That's right, but I still remember it had 3 creepy horns. This is pointless. That thing couldn't have been possibly existed 2 years ago. The witness must be mistaken. I mean, she did draw this. That may well be. But what's important is what caused her to think she saw what she did. Oh, and I suppose you have an explanation. If so, then by all means, please tell us what this shadow really was. Oh, really? This is actually going to be the vase. The Blue Badger hadn't even dreamt up when Emma drew the picture. Yet she's certain she saw the shadow. Ladies and gentlemen, this defense's belief that on the fatal day of 2 years ago, there indeed was something that looked similar to the Blue Badger. Something that is now sitting in this very room. Mr. Wright. In this room? Very well, Mr. Wright. What is it that the witness saw in that instant? Please show us the mysterious Blue Badger look-alike. The mysterious Blue Badger was in fact this. A save file. Coming in to save my day. But that's, exactly what is that? I believe it's some sort of jar? But Mr. Wright, that doesn't look anything like the Blue Badger. Indeed it doesn't, as it stands now, it's just a plain jar. However, if we were to change our viewpoint... I've got to show them the correct angle to look at this from. It's gotta be something like that, right? Can I not rotate it this way? Oh my god. Oh, thank god! Oh my god, okay, that's so much easier. Or maybe this way. Oh no, it needs to be pointing down, so I would guess it was... Wait, hold on. So, because the badger was... No, they all need to be together. Just the ball, just the ball. This isn't right. We gotta make it look like more like the badger. Allow me to remind the defense this case hinges on the witness's drawing. If Mr. Wright can't match the shape the witness drew, we cannot accept his claim. What? Again, it's the droop, right? The droop needs to be like down here. Is that not the blue badger right there? Or do we want straight straight on? We can't do straight on. I'm so confused. Ah! Nope. Still incorrect. Come on. What did I even... How do I get this? So I felt like that we were going the right way here because the droop was correct. We had the droop going. But I guess we have to have the droop this way. I gotta get his face a little rounder. Why is that not right? How is that not correct? I mean, that could be it. Nope. Okay, I'm at a loss. Angelic Guardian 36905, hi, welcome. Oh no, not this thing? Ah, I see, you are a connoisseur of the Phoenix Wright struggles. So, welcome to the stream. I only just started this puzzle, so I apologize, this might take a while. I just want to get the droop right, but then I can't get the droop right at all. It took me over an hour to do this, and that music, don't get me started. Ah. I mean, I'm glad they don't take away lives, that's for sure. But also, yeah, I wasn't commentating it at all because I have no clue. Because my main thing is that if I can get the droops down, right, we get the droopy. I just want to angle it so the droops are. That looks right. I just want to remove that and just have it. But again, the head's too fucked. The music haunted my dream for months after this. Oh, I feel like it's gonna be in mine too. Ever since seeing the... So I played the videotape yesterday. Or that day of the court case yesterday. Or last night for me. Oh, I could just keep hearing it all over. Nope. Damn it! Honestly, that was like pretty good. I thought this was pretty good because we had the baubles at an angle down, unless they want it centered. Look, that was my original idea. That. Well, actually. Just want to get the circular shape going. Actually, no, not circular. It has to be like a triangle, right? A triangle up to a ball. If you can get this in under 20 minutes, I'll be very impressed. God, that's a lot of pressure. So my question is, would that be it? Flash of lightning. Boom, it's on its side. Let's just remove any doubt. Damn it! Imagine this actually like in a courtroom where Wright is like, yeah, no, I'll prove it. I'll prove it. Trust me. Have faith, It's gonna be correct. Looks so close. So I gotta find a way to have that triangle come out. Or have that droop look good enough for it. Nope. I think I'm good though. Honestly, I'm confident in that angle, so I might just be going insane trying to get it. Looks right, but the top is a little off. Yeah, the top is a bit off. It needs to be higher, huh? I'm trying to get it so it's like just a good circle. That looks pretty good. Does it have to be like pixel perfect? I feel like it should be. Again, it's a circle at the top. So that needs to just form a full circle. Fuck! I'm not sure, but it took me forever to do this. How long ago did you play this? Are you like one of those people who are like, I played this as a kid, and now that it's on the Switch, I'm gonna give it a go again as an adult? Because that's definitely me. This whole game is like about a year ago. Okay, nice. Did you only learn about it like recently, or were you like, again, yeah, one of those people who you were an Xbox? Wait, they had this game on Xbox? Oh, very cool. How can I droop? I want to know how to droop it a bit more. Because I have to look at it like a 2D image, right? Can I get that triangle a little sharper? Or maybe we lift them up. No, I was just on this angle before. It has to be a circle is the problem. Same as Slime Rancher, it's nearly on all platforms. Oh, interesting. I did not know. That's completely wrong. That's really wrong. Thank you, game, for giving me multiple attempts. That's very kind of you. People Switch, Xbox, and Steam. Ah, I knew it was released on Steam. I didn't know it was released in the consoles. That doesn't have the right droop down. That has the correct droop down. They were. Nice. My other angle was here, right? This is my other one. This looks correct to me, but I know it's not. Well, I don't know that it's not. I just have a hard feeling that it's not. Highly recommend Slime Rancher. It's fun and cute. Are you okay? Well, in terms of the mental state of trying to solve this puzzle, no. But I don't know, actually. My stomach has been a bit weird today. I'm starting to get a dry throat, a dry cough. Then again, I did run out inside. I did run in the rain or a drizzle a couple of days ago, so I don't know. I'll be fine. I should be okay. Damn it. I gotta make it look more like the Badger. Can I zoom in and out? Because the only thing I can do is present and rotate, yeah. And then rotate left or right. I want to get tested just to be on the safe side. Can't be too careful these times. Yeah. I'll see how I feel tomorrow morning. If it's worse, definitely gonna look at getting tested. Just so we can actually inform the government and the people who may not have been in the same places as I have. So this is head on, right? Head on, it's not the Badger, definitely. But you rotate that a little bit. Right? Because if again, I'm trying to like... Can we get that sharper? That's not bad. That's not bad. Nope, damn it! So yeah, I only say I'm gonna get it tomorrow because I'm already at home. It's nighttime for me. And the only place I can go is bed. So we're gonna see. Smart. I'm stuck in Canada thanks to protesters closing the bridge. All day, had no turnaround. God damn. Maybe lower? I'll try lower. Yeah, there's been about a bunch of protests as well here, and it's really messed up some people's schedules because they blocked out the motorway for us. I'll try lower. You might be onto something with going lower there. My only worry is that the height of the thing is quite intense. They blocked the whole U.S.-Canadian border. Golly. Is this for or against, like, the COVID protection? Anti-vaccine, yeah, okay, makes sense. And anti-government. Honestly, this isn't right. I've got to make it look like the Badger. Stop it, Phoenix. If they could just use their imagination, maybe we'd be good. But no, we can't. I mean, also, to be fair, a lot of the anti-vaccine stuff stems from, at least what I can see, it stems from a lot of just anti-government hatred. Because a lot of people don't trust the government either way. No matter what government gets voted in. Am I looking at it from the wrong angle? There has to be like a sweet spot for that triangle to come up. Unless that hole is key. No, because that's gotta be the entire thing, right? This isn't right. Damn it. And people are bringing elderly and children to this. No mask or anything. The kids will hear cursing and everything. It's just horrible. Yeah. I know. How are you supposed to, like... I don't know. A healthy critical mind against the government is very important in what they do, right? It is good to challenge those who are above you, but to completely mistrust them is fucked up beyond all belief. To completely say that they don't know what they're doing and they're fucking it up for everyone else is really, honestly, scary. Because then, yeah, it'll teach their kids to not trust the government. And from a young age, you'll just be like, yeah, the government was really never here to help us. What are we supposed to do? It was disgusting. Don't they realize that they're just blocking food trucks from coming in? They need those trucks to survive. Yeah. They can't really figure out. It's still not correct. Dude, at this point, I'm gonna try something really weird and really not okay. Just for my sake. Try going up a bit. Okay, I will pause in a section, but I do just want to do this. Because we're only getting the head, right? We're not getting anything else. Okay, I have an idea. Just look it up if needed. I had to do so. I'm gonna try a thing here where I basically just drew an outline. I drew an outline with a piece of paper and I'm just putting it up against my thing. You're going to do a thing. I am doing a thing. So I got a piece of paper. I put it up against our boy here. And now I'm putting it up against the pot so we can kind of mimic the shape. And I now have a cat. Yay, squeaky snuggles. Oh, I'm jealous. I would love a cat. Okay, I'm gonna give myself till stream time 1 hour and 15 minutes, so 4 more minutes. That looks right, right? But I've been on this spot before already. Nope, still not correct. What's your cat's name? She's hugging my arm and purring. Oh, kitten purrs. I'm jealous. Alani. Oh, that's nice. Did you pick it because it's a nice name, or does it have like a meaning? I'm going to be pissed off if the hole is somehow connected to it. It means orange in Hawaiian. Oh, very cute. That was just a random guess. Ah. Are you originally of Hawaiian descent, or is that just a nice word that you picked up? You don't have to be Hawaiian to like pick that name. You can just know the word, right? Like a lot of people name their Shih Tzus mochi as just the food, right? Which I do 100% believe that. Went in looking for the kindest cat and left with the most stunning tortoise shell cat. Let me see what that looks like. Oh my god, that coat is beautiful. Damn. Ugh, and they look so fluffy as well. That's an insane color pattern. Okay, hold on. She was a little squeaker when I got her. Oh. Okay, 2 minutes. Do you think that is good, Angel Guardian? I know I've done this before already, this specific angle. But what your opinion? Should I go up or down? It's a black and orange speckled coat. Hers is absolutely stunning and she's just as kind. Ugh. And you have a nice cat as well. That's very cool. Whenever a cat sleeps next to you, just to pinch up, like put the circle at the top up. Like that? Yes, okay. The music didn't stop. Okay, last try before I search it up. This is the only thing that I searched up in this entire game. Ah! This makes me feel so sad. Everything else I've just figured out and kind of learned. But this is gonna be the thing that I have to search up. No. Please. Maybe it's like a weird thing where you have to align the bottom bit somewhere. Don't worry, this is a royal pain in the butt. I know. Okay. It's 1:15. Phoenix Wright. Blue Badger puzzle. Ah! Okay, you can't hear the desktop audio, so you won't be able to see this. Huh. Really? Dude, that's the exact same one. I almost lost my sanity. No, I swear to God, we've had this angle the whole time. Oh, I didn't mean to open up the chord record. Hi, Lemon. We had it. Okay, no, this is not fair. I'm gonna say we had it. I don't care if I had to search it up. This is bullshit. What? So it's just like this. Nope, that's not right either. What the fuck? It happened to me so dang much. It's so close. It's so close. I'm just not getting the pixel. Again, it has to be pixel perfect, and I'm just not getting it. Let me full screen this bitch. Nope. Nope. Okay. Sorry, I can't see chat right now. Just trying to match the image. So that is centered a little bit. It's a little off. The swerve doesn't feel right. What? It's still not correct. What? How long has it been doing this? I'm the girl who spent over 9 months hunting for a shiny Latias. Sister Helen was like cool at this. Yeah! Whoa! 9 months for a wow! That is a long hunt. I'm losing my mind with this, Lemon. I think I've been here for like half an hour now. How the fuck? What was your movement pattern? Rotate. Yup. And just down. Huh. So I don't have to go hardcore. Let's just rotate it. Oh, fucked it up. Rotate. No shiny charm, just went for it. God damn, you are committed. And then go down. So it's a circle. What? At least you got her. That's like, again, hella work. What the actual fuck? What the actual fuck is this? I'm so confused. How did people do this? How do people do the Blue Badger? The stream community spoilers. The Blue Badger is going to make me kill myself. Yeah, trigger alert. Sorry. Does anyone remember the unstable puzzle jar? What the fuck is this? I just want to see the Blue Badger trial. So it seems it's going to take you a few more hours. I mean, I have the solution now and I can't even fucking get it. I feel like I'm going insane. I just need to see the Blue Badger picture. Don't worry, I suffered your pain. I feel like a lot of people who played this game suffered the same pain. What the fuck? Let me just see just the image, please. No. No. Stop, Imgur. Okay, just for y'all's sake, I'm gonna cut this. Because y'all must be going insane. As soon as I saw you in this part, I had to come and save your sanity. I appreciate the help. I appreciate the support. Where's the image? Imgur. Imgur. Spoiler alert, the Blue Badger is bloody evil. I mean, I believe it now. Because that curve goes down. Unless I don't know. I need that to spin. When I spin that, does that spin at all? I feel like I'm off. You can just see the circle, right? Oh, my headphone's about to die. So it's just about the edge. It's near the edge. Nearer to the edge. Does that look right? No, because that doesn't cut off properly, does it? I'm just trying to aim the circle in the center. That's not right, is it? Yeah! God! Oh my god. Okay, music back on. Son of bitch. Oh my god. I don't know when we started that shit. I'm definitely marking that down. I'm making a TikTok out of that. Oh my god. Oh, I thought I was wrong because I was looking at the picture and it did not seem right. Even with the grid pattern, it seemed so off. But I swear to God, we had this already. I guess the curvature wasn't perfect. Well, is this a miracle or what? It's or what, Phoenix? It's an or what? Oh my god, I almost cried when I saw you got it. Oh. No one can possibly deny this jar's resemblance to the Blue Badger. What the fuck, game? No. Can't be. After 20 minutes in court, Wright, you figured it out. I'm gonna change my headset battery. Hold on. Dudes, like, you got it right here. You're welcome. Thank you, Lemon. I guess. Thank you, Lemon, for the support and your kindness and generosity of lending me your strength. Thank you, Angelic Guardian, for also lending me your strength and, you know, making me feel much better for not having to search up the... I was going to say, it was longer than 20 minutes. But also, yeah, thank you, Angelic Guardian, for keeping me calm and sane until Lemon showed up. Thank you both for holding my hand through this experience, and I apologize for... And especially to you, Angelic Guardian, for having to listen to the fucking scarring music for as long as that was. I definitely started this like maybe 40 minutes ago. God. Oh my God, I feel so sad. The defense has proven its claim. The mysterious blue badger witnessed on the day of the crime was actually this. I got you. I saw you in this bit and I was like, I gotta save you, this poor person. Thank you. I might do that next. If I see any other streamers doing this, because I know 2 people who were streaming this recently. I think they're around the same time. Gotta warn them about it. If they're not, if they're not ahead of me. Although we all enjoyed Mr. Wright's dramatic performance, one question remains. What's your point? What is my point? Let me just save it so we don't have to do that shit again. Oh, buddy. What do you mean? So the badger thing was actually just a jar. That doesn't change anything. Just look it up. I'm afraid that's where you're wrong, Mr. Edgeworth. You see, this jar changes everything. Indeed. Very well then, please tell us. What's different now that we know the witness to the jar? Let's talk about... So it can't be location, or actually could be location because you can tell it happened on that side of the room, but they already knew that. Where was the picture taken? The murder weapon. I'll say the murder weapon, fuck it. Allow me to take these in turn. At the moment of the murder, the witness saw this jar. With a very specific angle, I might add, Mr. Wright. Yes, while knowing this, where could she have seen this jar? Where? The location of the jar is shown in a picture taken on the day of the crime. It's on a shelf in the office of Damon Gant. But the body was found lying near Lana Sky's desk. The witness testified so herself. Yes, and it is these 2 facts that reveal what actually transpired. You see, the struggle between Dark and Marshall did not take place in Lana Sky's office. It happened on the other side of the room in Chief Gant's office. Would you call it their office if it's one giganto room? Are you implying the murderer moved the victim's body? From Damon Gant's office to Lana Sky's office? Yep. Why would he do that? There's no reason. Exactly. If there wasn't a reason, he wouldn't have gone through the trouble. The only logical conclusion here is that there was a reason. Do you know what that reason was, Mr. Wright? I finally figured it out. So this is why Lana tried to stop the trial. Too late. It's too late to quit now, though. Please recall the witness's testimony. She said she knocked away the man who was holding up the knife. In the next instant, the jar was hit and flew through the air. Now tell me, what could have sent the jar flying? That would have been the impact the man made when he was knocked into the wall. Correct, Your Honor. Ladies and gentlemen, if I may draw your attention to this picture once more. If the man was knocked in the direction of the shelf the jar was sitting on, spam your Discord with cat pictures. You did? Yay! Okay, hold on. Let me take a picture of what I did to try and figure it out. So I'll post it on the Discord too. I'll post it on the meme section. Let's go to the memes. I just want to show you what I was trying to do when I said I was doing a thing. Just so you can see how fucking stupid that was. Okay, let's go. Thank you for coming into the Discord, by the way. Welcome. It's kind of dead. I gotta be honest. I'm not very good at upkeeping the Discord. Oh my gosh, she's so beautiful. Wow. Oh, and those eyes. Oh my god. Little floofball. Hell yeah. Actually, I'll put it in the general. Let's just confuse everyone. Okay. I drew an outline and I posted and I tried to chuck it on the screen so I could align it, but obviously the picture was way too small and we had to get the actual shape going, so I fucked it. If the man was knocked in the direction of the shelf the jar was sitting on, what would have he hit? What would he have hit? Ah, the suit of armor holding a very sharp and dangerous looking sword. Yep. And since the man who was knocked into the armor was carrying a broken knife, he would have been Neil Marshall, wielding the King of Prosecutors trophy. No, Mr. Wright, you can't be thinking. Yes, there's another possibility of what actually transpired in that room. Another possibility? Of course, the perpetrator would have had no idea, but nevertheless, I don't know if I can go through with this. Mr. Wright, what's the matter? If events took place as the defense theorizes, then the outcome is obvious. In that moment, assuming the man Emma Skye knocked away was actually Prosecutor Neil Marshall. Yep. Just as I expected, it was Emma. Oh, and we're actually saying it out loud now. Like we're actually saying it out loud in court. I said it out loud last stream. I have proof. So Emma accidentally killed Neil. You mean Mr. Marshall died because of me? I can't do the yell. Yep, passed out. Not quite sure about that. Well, that was my theory. This is where we are right now. Ugh, knowing this game, there's going to be some sort of weird twist where it's not actually really her fault. I never imagined her testimony would lead to this. So it was the witness who took the victim's life. And then proved so with her own testimony. This is unprecedented. What? What are you saying? I'm sorry, Miss Skye, but given the circumstance, Joe Dark murdered Prosecutor Marshall. How can you think it was Emma? How dare you try to pin this crime on her? Imagine that coming from you. If you recall, it was you who admitted to forging evidence 2 years ago. The reason you moved Prosecutor Marshall's body was to keep anyone else from finding out about what Emma did, wasn't it? I assure you, Mr. Edgeworth, I have no idea what you're talking about. If you hope to have anyone believe your insane allegations, I'm afraid you're going to have proof. Tell me, do you have any conclusive evidence that proves my sister killed Neil Marshall? Evidence? I'm willing to bet you don't. Yes, it certainly would be difficult to prove this evidence. If we don't have evidence, then we'll have to rely on your testimony. I'm afraid that won't work in this case. Both parties involved in the incident are dead. We certainly can't get dead people to testify. This has been a wild goose chase from the beginning. Oh, he's got something up his sleeve! Touche, Miss Skye. Of course, that only leaves us with one possibility. You mean there's still another possibility? What do you mean, Mr. Edgeworth? I mean, the possibility that the victim has left us a message. For better or for worse, Mr. Marshall did not die instantly. He may have left behind the name of the person who took his life. In one matter or another. That's impossible. Whoa! Oh, is it this? Is it this lettering? I guess it's supposed to be in like kanji or something, right? Because that is his blood. Like, that's deliberate. Only fragment found in Chief Gant's office still remains. I can believe that. I'll take that on. Yep. When are we going to use this, though? Found in Chief Gant's safe evidence for something but what? Bears Emma Skye's prints. Sorry, did I even look at this? A clear handprint can be seen on leather cloth. The print belongs to Emma. I think I'll keep this information to myself. Was there anything else? Just making sure I didn't miss anything on this one, just in case. Well, Mr. Wright, this is the only possibility left to you. A message from the deceased. Does such a message exist? I've got to think back to the record record. The real murderer's name that the victim may have left. Is it the evidence? Hold up, is there a crime scene picture? I don't think there is a crime scene picture. We had the picture of this. Again, on Gant's side of the office. and just the file cases. This message from the deceased is already in our possession. Mr. Wright, will you stop at nothing to prove my sister a murderer? Do not be mistaken, Miss Sky. Our purpose is not to accuse Emma of any crime. There is only one thing we seek, the truth, no matter how painful it may be. Now then, Mr. Wright, please show us the piece of evidence that conveys a message from the deceased. Well, let's say this, because he's clearly drawing some shit, right? This is the message left by the deceased. This is that blue badger from before, correct? Oh, is he going to just speak the killer's name? If that thing could, I'm sure it would. Edgeworth, I know. Dude, imagine like being such a huge fan of Phoenix Wright that you get the blue badger tattooed onto you. Not only that, you don't get the she squeaked in my ear. Oh. I want cat, but I can't cuz allergies and I'm not allowed cats where I live in my house at the moment. But also, imagine getting the blue badger tattoo, but not of the blue badger, but of the specific angle of the vase. Like, what if that was a tattoo someone had? How much would you want to either congratulate, apologize, or punch that human being in the face? I would do all three. They're cats with not as many allergens. I know, but for me, the blue badger squeaked in my ear. For me, it's because I want to adopt, right? I don't want to buy. Like, I want to go to a shelter and help out a cat, and just the circumstances of a cat being hypoallergenic is, at least in my head, low. I don't actually know the actual statistics behind it, but there is a chance. I just have to hold out until I actually have a house that I can control and put pets inside. Looks like everyone's forgotten this is just a jar. The message was left here on the surface of the jar. What do you mean? If you look closely, you can see a faint trail of blood on the jar. It looks like someone wiped the blood away. Yes, but notice, for some reason the blood in some of the fragments was not wiped away. Yes, there is a line here, drawn in blood. So what are you saying? Is these dots were once lines? Prosecutor Marshall did not die instantly. He used the few precious moments left to him to leave behind a message. One that someone apparently wiped away. But blood must have seeped into the jar where this line changed directions. Precisely, so all we need to do is connect these points. We're actually connecting the dots. What? Save, just in case. Just in case. Mine isn't, but she has short hair, and I groom her often and clean her in her litter box daily. So I guess there are ways that I can help myself with, but also just downing antihistamines every single day. Which I already do, because my nose is fucked. No. Mr. Wright, what kind of message should the victim leave for us? Your Honor, I believe these bloodstains will reveal us the answers. I've got to connect the dots! Fuck. I hope this is easier. There's only one thing the victim would have written, given the circumstances. His murderer's name. What do I do? Oh. This is easy, trust me. Hold on, I want to undo. I'm just writing Gantt because that's all I can think of doing. No points on here, interesting. So that doesn't seem right. That's incorrect. What do you think? I came up with this message. Sorry, that's so stupid. I think you should make him write out. I won't do it again 100 times. Okay. Sorry. I'm actually not getting it. So, is this an A? Or is this the N? Because I have to figure out, I have to put the blame on someone now, don't I? So Neil is writing it. It can't be Sky. You're on the right track with the A. Oh. Why can I not connect this dot? Oh. There it is. This seems... Oh, this seems so sad. Right? That seems about right. It was a defense attorney's duty to prove their client's innocence. That's why all I've been thinking about is saving Lana. After all my efforts, I never thought it would turn out like this. Emma. So this is the final message Prosecutor Marshall left behind. Of all people. She may not have meant it, but in the end, the one who took the victim's life was Emma Sky. Seaworthy, can't I say I didn't warn you? Beep, beep, Chief Gant. Do you understand the implication of what you've done? What? What are you talking about? 2 years ago, Joe Dark was sentenced to death. He was convicted because of his final murder. I believe you were the prosecutor in the case, were you not? Yes, Worthy. Because of you, an innocent man was sentenced to death. Not only that, but you used forged evidence to ensure his... Okay, so it is Gant who murdered him, and Gant who tried to get the thing, and framed Emma? Because, I mean, he is good with forged evidence. The cloth of her fingerprints are quite evident that she's probably, like, trying to use it or something. Or it's the thing that he's trying to use to hold over... Well, obviously it is the thing that he's using to hold over Lana, because then Lana had to follow orders. But Joe Dark really was a serial murderer, and that's undeniable. I'm afraid that's not important. Didn't you know we aren't defenders of justice? What? We're merely keepers of the law. Damon Gant equals Demon Gent, really? Sentences a man to death, there is no light matter. Even if there wasn't any cover-up or evidence forgery, ultimately the responsibility falls on the prosecutor in charge. Despite what anyone may say, this fact cannot be denied. What's going on? How can he just stand there like it wasn't his fault? Order! The guy was pounding fell on deaf ears. Unable to settle the crowd, the judge declared a recess. Where this trial is headed now, no one knows. Oh shit, they hit us with a to be continued. Okay, now we have to prove Gant. Was I wrong? Is there more to this? In terms of me being wrong that there's more story rather than what I'm guessing. Almost all names in this game are puns. You can't stop here. Storyline is too good. I'm not stopping. I'm not stopping. I've got some time. Yeah, and I know all the names are puns. A lot of it does fly over my head. The one that was really annoying was Lotta Heart. Lotta's one is so annoying. But also, Angelic Guardian, you are pushing a little bit in terms of spoilers. Like, I can kind of lead myself in certain directions. Just, I guess when I ask, that's when you can lead me. Because I feel like you've been leading me quite a bit there as well. It's chill. It's like nothing to worry about. Just pull back a little bit. Sorry, Edgeworth. I didn't mean to get you in trouble. It's chill, it's chill. You haven't, like, actually said actual spoilers. It's just a lot of... You're just excited. That's fair. Don't worry, don't worry. I didn't mean to get you in trouble. Don't worry about it. This is my problem, not yours. Hope I'm not interrupting, pals. Oh, I guess I am. I'll come back later. Gumshoe! Detective Gumshoe, what is it? You've got a lot of nerve, pal, making a detective run all around while on duty. And to top it off, you call me here. I've seen happier people at funerals. I take it Lana's having you run errands again. Let me tell you, this is the last time, pal. Gumshoe Lamau. Yeah! Miss Law, here. Here, she asked me to give this to you. If there was a break in today's trial. Evidence law. I was talking about this just the other day. You must know the 2 rules of evidence law. Rule number 1, no evidence shall be shown without the approval of the police department. Is that right, Mr. Wright? It seems so. You gotta love Gumshoe. He's, what do you call it? He's inspired by an actual detective show, right? Like, just the look of him. The chief prosecutor also wanted me to give you a message. A message? She said, if you're planning to take him on, you're going to need this book. Him. I guess I need to just give this book a thorough read. Another name is Winston Payne. Winston Payne. Ah, Winston Payne! Okay, that's good. Doesn't look like that'll book you any good for now, though. Can we read it? Evidence law should be shown in the denial of the police department. Without the approval of the police department, unregistered evidence presented must be relevant to the case on trial. Yes. So I can show anything that as long as it's relevant. All that's left now is the chief prosecutor's sentence. That's where you're wrong, detective. Huh? Haven't you figured it out yet? Why I'm still sitting in that prosecutor's seat? Despite all these allegations being thrown at me. Mr. Edgeworth. The real trial today hasn't begun yet. What else is there left to do? Mia Fey, MIA, missing in action. I'll take that. Mia? A bit, yeah. And the Sky found out she was unwittingly caused the man's death. And now you're telling me you want to do more? You gotta be kidding here, pal. You're missing the point, detective. Lana didn't murder Detective Goodman. She merely stuck a knife into his dead body. That means the real killer is still out there. What? And we're going to expose him, no matter what it takes. This case has hurt too many people. It's time to bring it to an end. To an end! I mean, Nick Butts. Is that just a Butts joke, or am I missing something else from that one? Who else have we met? Court will now reconvene for the trial of Miss Lana Sky. Mr. Edgeworth. Butt joke funny. That's what I'm thinking? Maybe there's more, though? I don't know. Yes, Your Honor. The Inquiry Committee is planning to impose harsh penalties for your actions. Thank you for the news, Your Honor. Yes, well... Normally, this is where the prosecution calls forth a witness, but, this isn't easy to say. You see, there is some concern that you, Mr. Edgeworth, may have, struck a bargain. You think I may have manipulated the witnesses. I didn't say that. It's just, you see, everyone has been talking, and... Very well, Your Honor. I have a solution. A solution? That being the case, the prosecution will allow the defense to call forth all further witnesses. What? But there's no precedent for what you are proposing. Undeniably, this is an unusual arrangement, but a very effective one. It would prove that I haven't struck any deals with the witnesses. Well, Mr. Wright, what do you say? Unbelievable. Edgeworth has found a way to continue the trial. Very well, the defense accepts the prosecution's proposal. Then it's settled. The, defense may now call forth the next witness. Mr. Wright. You do realize this is your last chance. If you call the wrong witness, I'm saving. Yeah, windbag. Wendy old bag, yeah. Because she won't stop talking. If you call the wrong witness, this trial is as good as over. The defense calls Well? Well? Imagine calling Goodman and Goodman shows up. Gant, right? I guess we're going to do Lana. We could do Lana as well. We don't have anything on Gant at the moment. And I did save. To prove that Lana's the one who didn't murder him. Okay, I'm calling Lana. This could be wrong. It appears you overestimated you, Mr. Wright. Huh? For a moment I actually thought you knew what you were doing. This court has long tried of your questionable antics. So, Gant? I ain't starting off like that. No! Sorry, I overthought it again. Damon Gant. The defense calls Damon Gant to the stand. Damon Gant? What does he have to do with anything? As the defendant's partner 2 years ago, Mr. Gant has first-hand knowledge of the crime. I feel we should hear what he has to say about it. As luck would have it, he should still be in the courthouse. He would also be the least likely to have been manipulated by me in any way. Wouldn't you agree, Your Honor? True. All right, bailiff, please escort Mr. Gant to the stand. Yay, more Mr. Gant voice. Gant's voice, not gonna lie, has been a bit of a struggle for me, but not as hard as everyone else. Witness, please state your name and occupation. What's this, some kind of practical joke? I was just on my way to lunch. Your name and occupation, sir. Worthy, are you sure you want to do this? Your name and occupation. I played a game where the character tutoring you was literally named Beagriner. It's just like how in Undertale, Toriel is short for tutorial or tutorial. Captivating. It's literally supposed to be hypnotic. So, you want to play hardball, huh? But please, Mr. Gant. Fine. My name is Damon Gant. I'm the acting chief of police. Now then, Chief Gant, the court requests to hear your testimony. Oh, righto. What's with the grim face? First, let's clear up this SL9 incident. Oh, you mean that time when Lana's sister murdered that prosecutor? Personally, I think it's been made pretty clear already. There's still some things unaccounted for. Oh, like what? Like the role you played in all of this. Son, either you're very brave or very foolish. You are aware of the course that a police chief has all kinds of weapons at his disposal. Weapons? Sure, take my testimony for example. I don't have to give it if I don't want to. Is that true? I'm afraid so. The chief of police has the right to refuse to testify. Of course, such an action carries with it certain risks. Don't worry, I'm not here to hinder your trial. Just remember, if this turns out to be a big waste of time, don't say I didn't warn you. Very well. The witness may now begin his testimony. Let's do this! As I recall, Neil and I were questioning him that day. To make a long story short, we slipped up. That power outage didn't help either. When I went to my office, I found Lana there. Apparently, she had already arranged the crime scene. At least this isn't Von Dracula. Yeah, I gave him a French accent. I don't know why. I mean, Von Karma. Yeah. He has a good design, but also his voice was hella insane. His objection voice? Fucking, that was like really scary. As you can see, I had nothing to do with the forgery. Is that when Dark was arrested? Him? He was lying on the floor unconscious. He's probably drinking blood in his jail cell as this case is going on. God. He probably is. Straight from the bullet hole. When Emma sent Neil flying, it seems Doc bumped his head. I see, everything seems pretty clear-cut. If the police chief has the right to refuse to testify, then I'd better hit him hard and fast. Okay. Okay, so I have a feeling something's gonna come up when I press. So I will save just in case. As I recall, a ceremony was held at the police department that day. Yes, that's right. I guess you could say I'm a workaholic. After winning his award, Neil was all fired up too. That's probably what spooked Doc and made him run away like that. Was the defendant Lana Skye also present in the room? I don't quite remember. At the very least, she wasn't there when Doc ran for it. To make a long story short, we slipped up. That power outage didn't help either. So the two of you ran immediately after him, right? That's right, but Doc made it into the elevator first. So Neil and I split up. He went upstairs and I went downstairs. I guess you could say he got lucky. What's this about a power outage? Oh, that. The elevator stopped all of a sudden, and I got the shock of my life. Well, probably not as shocked as Neil was when that knife went through his heart, though. That's not funny. I would have called that lucky, yeah. When I went to my office, I found Lana there. Where? Could you tell us what you saw? It was a shocking sight. Neil and that serial killer were lying in a heap on the floor, all tangled together. Doc was also lying collapsed on the floor? Yes, apparently he hit his head and was knocked out. Next to them were those two poor girls, Lana and Emma. Lana was cradling Emma in her arms. Looking back at it now, she must have already known what her sister had done. I mean, you go in there, you're not really sure that your sister did it. How can you know that? Because of the victim's body, it had already been moved. So that means... You found the body near Lana's desk. That's right. I think you said earlier, it was my suit of armor that really stabbed the prosecutor. Yes. Anyway. As you can see, I had nothing to do with the forgery. I'm gonna punch that smug look off his face. Yeah! Yeah, it looks real good to punch. That the forgery had already taken place by the time you arrived at your office. That's exactly what I'm saying. I can understand how Lana must have felt, but moving a body and hiding evidence are inexcusable, no matter what the circumstances. Is that how it really went down? Staring at the witness won't do you any good, Mr. Wright. If you're going to stare at anything, you'd better look at that court record. Worthy, always the smooth talker. But which piece of evidence ties Gant to the forgery? Lana did admit to forging evidence, but that can't be the whole truth. Somehow, I've got to link Gant to the incident. Well, what links Gant to the incident? Edgeworth helping Phoenix is great. I know! The ship is finally happening. But then I'm pretty sure they never get married at the end. This whole game has been them just flirting back and forth. Stabbed in the back, therefore punctured along knife tip was wound. Damon got him on a sky. Still doesn't time to the office. They're friends, I think? Are they just good roommates? Edge Wright. Is that the ship name? I hope that's the ship name. Edge Wright sounds good. No evidence should be shown without the approval of the police department. Unregistered evidence presented must be relevant to the case on trial. Just the drawings. So I can't even look at the... So this is the real evidence. This is the real murder weapon. Oh, I guess. But this still doesn't tie us to the SL6. Well, it does the SL6 case, but this ties to the room. Make no story short, I slipped up. That power outage didn't help. When I went to my office, I found Lana there. Apparently she had already arranged the crime scene. What did the knife look like? After the crime scene, wrapped in the defendant's muffler, small tag attached, SL9, right? Has no known victim. You think you remember? Okay, let me try figure it out. Because... And I've already pressed everything. Hold on. Neil was all fired up. Probably would spook Dark, made him run away like that. Honest Guy was present in the room. I don't quite remember. At the very least, she wasn't there when Dark ran for it. To make long story short, Irish didn't help. Dark made the elevator first, so Neil and I split up. Do we have anything to talk about the power outage? No, we don't. He went upstairs and I went downstairs. I guess you could say he got lucky. Elevator stopped all of a sudden. I got the shock of my life. Well, probably not as shocked as when Neil was when that knife went into his heart, though. Why are you clapping? I went to my office. I found Lana there. It's one of two things, you believe? Okay. Can you tell us what you saw? It was a shocking sight. Neil and that serial killer were laying a heap on the floor, all tangled together. Dark was also lying collapsed on the floor. Apparently he hit his head and was knocked out. So that doesn't make sense to me. Where did he hit his head? Because he wasn't hit. He wasn't bumped. Next to them were those two poor girls, Lana and Emma. Lana was cradling Emma in her arms. Looking back at it now, she must have already known what her sister had done. She had already arranged the crime scene. How can you know that? Because the victim's body had already been moved. That means... Found a body near Lana's desk. That's right, I think you said it earlier. The suit of armor really stabbed the prosecutor. Anyway... had nothing to do with the forgery. Okay. So we've pressed everything. Let me just press it one more time and let's see what it says. If there's anything to pick up on. Forgery had already taken place by the time you arrived at the office. That's exactly what I'm saying. Must have failed, but moving a body and hiding evidence are inexcusable, no matter what the circumstances. Is that how it really went down? Staring at the witness won't do any good. If you're going to stare at anything, you better not be staring at the court record. Which piece of evidence ties Gant to forgery? Final fragment found in Chief Grant's safe. Emma is written on the surface in blood. So it was found in his safe. Why would he hide it in his safe when he's the only one that knows the password? So my guess would be that. Again, before I press, I will... Oh, fuck. Let's save. So I guess it's one of those. I would say one of those. I'm gonna put this because this ties us more to the case than anything. You claim you had nothing to do with the forgery. But I'm afraid that is a claim you cannot back up. Explain yourself. Several pieces of evidence were found in your office. Taking this jar, for example. That's the blue badger you showed us earlier. A piece of this jar was discovered in your safe. Not only that, but the evidence list I presented earlier was actually found inside your desk. It was found where? You see, Chief Gant, these articles of evidence uncovered in your office are both concrete proof that you also played a part in the legal investigation. Okay, good. Chief Gant, what is the meaning of this? Ho ho. Here's a defense attorney who may even ravel worthy. So you admit to it then, that you were involved in the forgery? Who, me? Or do you mean you? Me? Why would I have anything to do with that? Well, you were the one who snuck into my office when you found this evidence. Prosecutors aren't the only ones capable of forging evidence, you know. Defense attorneys can do so too. Isn't that right, Rado? However, Detective Gumshoe was present during the investigation. Worthy, my boy. Not even detectives are exempt from the law. Unregistered evidence presented must be relevant to the case on trial. Must be relevant to the case on trial, which it is. Rest assured, Dick will receive his due punishment. What? If Detective Gumshoe's salary drops any further and the paying to work, he's gonna get fired, Nick. Come on. Well, in light of the detective's presence, please give us your testimony regarding these pieces of evidence found in your office, and their relation to forgery that took place at the time the crime. What? The crime scene. At the scene of the crime, I was trying to say. My, kids these days no longer know how to put 2 and 2 together. Yeah, but you put like 7 and 8 together and got like 46. Or 7, 7, 7, 7, 7, 7, 7, 7, 7. Let's see. What was it now? A jar, fragment, and a list. For all I know, you could have planted them in my office. Anyway, you can't prove when those pieces of evidence were discovered. If they were found after Doc was convicted, then they're worthless. There's no reason I'd participate in a forgery. Rearranging the crime scene wouldn't help me out in any way. Well, it would help you because you get to lock him down. Mr. Wright, yes, Your Honor. When investigating the crime scene, you should have been more careful to observe protocol. You do understand that I am the chief of police, correct? There will be consequences. Oh. Indeed, I believe I will press charges so you won't make the same mistake again. My apologies, Chief, but would you still mind waiting until tomorrow for that? Today is, well, you know. Alright, Udgy. In return, though. I know. That place, right? Huh? What are these guys, telepathic? Okay. I'd appreciate it if you'd stop making these ridiculous allegations. Yes, you do have a point. You wouldn't have the guts to do something like that. What? I'll have you know, back in the day I once broke into a cattle ranch and tipped... Mr. Wright, what are you saying? Anyway, you can't prove you didn't carry in the evidence, can you? If you have proof to the contrary, you're going to need it later. Later? What are you talking about? What else? I'm talking about when Rido's prints are found. Yes, if they're found inside my safe, they would prove this investigation was illegal. I've never faced anyone as slimy as this guy. Anyway, you can't prove when those pieces of evidence was discovered. What do you mean by that? This is all purely hypothetical, of course. But suppose I did place those items in my safe. Such an act wouldn't necessarily constitute forgery. If concealing evidence found at a crime scene isn't forgery... I'm not through speaking yet, Rado. It all depends on when the evidence was discovered. If they were found after Doc was convicted, then they're worthless. Are you saying this jar fragment wasn't discovered in the initial investigation? It would appear not, after all. It wasn't listed in the evidence list. For all we know, it could have suddenly materialized the day after Doc was sentenced. Oh, and wouldn't that be convenient? Right. The Chief is talking about a possibility, so long as you can't rule that out. Your remarks, however clever they may be, will only succeed in wasting time. This game low-key looks interesting, eh? I am Rimp! Sorry, I think I'm messing it up. I am Rin. I am Rin P. Hi, Rin. Hi. Sorry, I'm messing it up. It is an amazing game. It's a great game! Come now, Rado. Think about it. Oh, it's normal! Oh, shit! You did say hi before. Sorry, fam. What's up, dude? How are you? Yeah, okay. Yep. It's backwards. I can see that now. It's also an L, not an I. God, okay, whatever. Sorry, fam. Good. How are you, my man? Me feeling way better, or... Yeah, so I'm running a bit more. The DVT has been kind of like getting okay. Still gets very like swollen while doing sports, so I can't play like a full game or like a full basketball, or like even like a full quarter of basketball even. But it's definitely much better from where it was. It's just, you know, continuing that process until it's all good. There's no reason I'd participate in forgery. Okay. How can you look me in the eye and say that? Because I'm innocent. Remember, who was it that murdered Neil? I'm not sure I care for the word murder here, but in the end, the person responsible for Mr. Marshall's unfortunate demise. It's not good, but it's good to hear it's getting better. Yeah, it's a slow process is what I understand. But I'm doing what I can. I'm doing as much as I can to make sure it's okay. Well, now do you see? Rearranging the crime scene wouldn't help me out in any way. I mean, it would help you out because it's not on your side of the office. Really, Chief Gant? At the very least, there is one very large benefit you've reaped from all this. Oh, I wasn't aware. What is this benefit? That would, of course... Wait, that would, of course, be the position you have, Chief of Police. Oh. The resolution of the SL9 incident secured your promotion to Chief. Just don't push too hard. You've got this. I will, thanks. Yeah. I'm taking it day by day as much as I can. DVT is nothing to mess with. But we're definitely looking after myself, and I'm definitely putting my health over a lot of things. So we're slowly getting there. We're slowly working it out. That in itself is sufficient motive. Ho ho ho. That's a good one, huh? Do you really think I'm that incompetent? What do you mean? Even without that case, I was already in line to become the next chief. The resolution of SL9 merely sped up the inevitable a little. Health first always. 100%. Is that true, Edgeworth? Yes, he was going to be made chief anyway. God. Be careful when pointing that finger, or you might wind up being the one pointed at. So that means there's only one possible motivation for you to commit forgery. If you didn't do it for yourself, then you did it for someone else. Yeah, but who though? Don't be silly, Worthy. You know better than that. There are only 3 people I look out for: me, myself, and I. There it is, out in the open now. Gee, wouldn't you mind if I changed my testimony a little? Changed? Changed? I wouldn't be anyone's accomplice if there was nothing in it for me. Nothing in it for you. Sorry, but the only person I care about is yours truly. That girl, Lana's little sister, was it? If you think I felt sorry for her, you'd better think again. You're right, you don't feel sorry for anyone. Be tough on crime, though. Be tough on crime and tough on people. That's how I was raised. That's one person, yeah. You seem to be lax enough on yourself, though. Ho ho ho! That's a good one, Worthy. Could there have been something in it for him? Given his selfishness? I mean... Point out an accomplice. Joe Dark, deceased serial killer responsible for the SL9 incident 2 years ago, was given the death penalty. Excuse me. Prosecutor murdered 2 years ago in the SL9 incident, Jake Marshall's brother. A gifted prosecutor and a ruthless man. Director of local precinct. High school junior and self-styled scientific investigator. I mean, who could you have helped? These 2 definitely went down. Goodman kept his spot. Okay, so I'll save, and then I'll point out an accomplice. True, you might not help out anyone for their sake, but if it would benefit you, you might decide to assist someone. Mr. Wright, it appears you're positively determined to portray... What? It appears you're positively determined to portray the chief as a nice man who likes to lend people a hand. That's not what I meant. Very well, then. Who is this person you believe Chief Gant may have helped forge evidence? Chief Prosecutor Lana Skye, the defendant. I believe it's quite obvious in light of the circumstances. Emma Skye fell victim to an unfortunate series of events. No, Judge, get another job, yeesh. Who would want to help her more than her own sister Lana? And as for Chief Gant, he would also have a reason to help Lana if she asked him to. That reason, of course, is self-profit. Self-profit? What do you mean? After the SL9 incident was resolved, Lana Skye was appointed Chief Prosecutor at the Prosecutor's Office. The person who arranged this job change was you, Chief Gant. But, how would he profit from all of this? He would be able to use the Chief Prosecutor as his puppet. Essentially, he would acquire unchecked authority over all investigations. Do you mean to tell me that despite the Chief's formidable appearance, he plays with puppets? Oh my god, Judge. Oh wait, you must mean puppet... admitted Chief. You assisted Lana Skye in forging evidence. Your motive to appoint her as Chief Prosecutor so you could control her. Ratto, my boy, you have quite an imagination. Let me ask you something. What? Do you have any proof of this that I controlled Lana? For example, is Lana testifying that I've done such a thing? Lana, she's keeping quiet to protect Emma. There's no way she'd testify against Gant. I'm afraid without any proof, this all amounts to nothing more than mere conjecture. Oh, for the love of King DDD. Retire, please, Judge. Yeah. He's been, like, off the walls for, like, every single case. That is also what happened in this incident. This incident? Which would that be? Of course, I'm talking about the murder of Detective Bruce Goodman. The Chief Prosecutor has been acting strange throughout this entire trial. Almost as if someone has been controlling her. Oh. Worthy, you'd better watch your tongue. I wouldn't want you to get hurt. Just what do you mean? What he means, Your Honor, is that Chief Gant is involved in the murder of Detective Goodman. Not only that, but the Chief is now making Lana take the rap to cover up his involvement. Edgeworth helping us out. What was the ship name again, Lemon? Wright. Wright! Order! I said order! Mr. Wright, you can't be serious, huh? This is an affront to the highest ranking officer, wow, I cannot read. The highest ranking officer in our law enforcement agency. To accuse the Chief of Police of blackmail and murder? That's, impossible. Impossible. Your Honor, I was merely reiterating what Mr. Edwards said in easier to understand language. It's too late, Mr. Wright. There's no turning back for us now. It looks like he's the one who's decided to go through with this. Can you prove this, Mr. Wright? That the chief of a high-ranking officer of the law is involved in this murder? Good question. I can. Yes, we can. Regardless of his rank or title, Chief Gant is just a man. The question is he a criminal? I believe the evidence will tell. I see. Alright then, let's see what... Oh. Good catch, good catch. This better be good. Show us this evidence. Just making sure we got the right one. Yep, that's Gant. This is the ID card list. Yeah, the one that shows who entered the evidence room on the day of the crime. There was one ID on the list we couldn't determine on the owner of yesterday. 7777777. Sorry, but there's no way you can prove that's my card number. It's your number. What? How do you know that? To save a Chief Gant's office requires a code to open. A 7-digit code. 7 digits? You don't mean... I'm afraid so, Your Honor. The code was 7777777. Whew! The same as the remaining ID card number on that list. Chief Gant, you entered the evidence room on the day of the crime. We're about to get the critical hit. Oh, Angelic Guardian. One of the things that I, like, kind of... Not even coined, but what I refer to. Whenever you catch someone out in the evidence, and they have, like, that really shocked look or that shocked animation... Doesn't it look like a critical hit has just happened? Like, they pretty much framed that like a crit. Like, just landed on the dude. Chief Gant, what do you have to say? Nothing. The defense's search of my office was in violation of regulations. No, it wasn't. Right? Like, they're getting critted the shit out of just with words. I noticed the evidence present must be relevant to the case on trial. Yep. And I would demand Mr. Wright be punished to the maximum extent of the law. But right now, this court demands an explanation from you about the use of this ID card. Chief Gant, so you admit it. You entered the evidence room on the day of the crime. What about it? I'm chief of police. Whether it's the evidence room or the bathroom, what's the difference? I can go anywhere I want. Tell me, when you entered the room, were you alone? I always go to the bathroom alone, as I do with the evidence room. Detective Goodman wouldn't have happened to be with you on that day, would he? Of course not. Why would he be? I hadn't seen him in days. You hadn't seen him in days, Chief Gant? I'm afraid you've just undone yourself. On that day, you had to have met with Detective Goodman. What do you mean? This trial's purpose is to determine Lana Sky's guilt. No, it isn't, Your Honor. This trial's purpose is to determine the truth. I mean, Edgeworth, you're pushing it. If Chief Gant met the victim on the day of the crime, then we need to determine one thing. What transpired during that meeting? In that case, Mr. Wright, I'm going to have to ask you for evidence. Show us proof that the victim went to meet Chief Gant on the day of the crime. Not the ID. Well, you can show the ID, but that's also later in the day because that was of, Marshall. Edgeworth parking lot. I mean, I'm assuming it's going to be the locker door. Oh, can only be submitted to the Chief of Police. Yeah. Detective Goodman lost his ID card on the day of the crime. Or to be more accurate, Jake Marshall stole it. So Detective Goodman filed out a lost item report. He would have had to give that report to the Chief of Police. Yet, you are in possession of the report, which means you can't be sure he filed it. Yeah, well, he filed it. How do I know, you ask? Because he needed to enter the evidence room that day. He needed to? Yeah, well, to transfer the evidence out. Oh, it was the transferal day. Detective Goodman took the form to you, Chief Gant. Then, you accompanied the detective to the evidence room. I accompanied him. There's no other way the murderer and Detective Goodman could have entered the room. Hold on, let me guess what you're going to say next. I, the Chief of Police, murdered poor Goodman. Correct. Exactly. But wait, the Chief didn't necessarily need to accompany him to the evidence room. He could have just lent him his ID card. Yes, now that you mention it. Sorry, but that's not possible. According to the record, your card was only used once. Yet you showed us your ID card earlier. If you had really lent it to Detective Goodman, it would have been found in his body. On his body. Yep. Oh, there's the crit! There's the crit! Woo! Fuck, that was hella crit. Chief Gant, you didn't. The murder was most likely a spur-of-the-moment crime for no one in their right mind. Who would choose the police department as a place to commit murder? After the murder, you contacted Lana, the prosecutor's office. Why? To dispose of Detective Goodman's body, of course. Critical hit, it's super effective! Yeah. You're forgetting, Mr. Wright, that the victim's body was discovered in the prosecutor's office parking lot. How did he manage to remove it? How did he manage to move it there? As the police department the entire day, you know? And everyone is aware that Lana stayed at the prosecutor's office after the ceremony. Everyone except me, it seems. Still, you are the Chief of Police. You have an entire police force at your disposal. It had to have been 4 times effective. Fuck, I hope so. I hope we're getting close. Oh, so you think I just ordered an officer to do it? Hey you, take this here dead body over to the prosecutor's office. I don't think so. Chief Gant, you left all the evidence we need to prove how you moved the body to the prosecutor's office. What? Phoenix. Phoenix, when you say shit like that and I'm not prepared. And all this time I thought it was a useless clue, just taking up space. What? How could the Chief have moved the body? How could the Chief have moved the body? Oh, fuck off. The Blue Badger panel? There's nothing else bigger. Oh god, I'm gonna use the Blue Badger. Fuck it. First try. We're gonna straight with the Blue Badger. Mr. Wright, show us this evidence. To move the victim's body, Chief Gant used this. Well, I see. Maybe I'll use this later to move your dead body, Mr. Wright. Oh, no, it's not, huh? Damn it! I really thought. Okay. Anyway. Cool. How could he have moved the body? How could he have moved the body? That was a death threat. I know! I'll move your body with it. Why couldn't it have been the Blue Badger? Oh, actually, no, that could have been false because the Blue Badger wasn't in the room at the time. Anyway, that's my fault. That's my fault. Loss of blood, knife. Entered at lot 1512. I mean, Edgeworth's car, correct? Is it not Edgeworth's car? This is how you move Detective Goodman's body. A parking stop? If you did hit, I got you. I'm guessing it's this. Hopefully it's correct. Miles Edgeworth. You mean? The body was found in the trunk of Mr. Edgeworth's car. I think it's obvious what happened. The body was moved by that car. What? I mean, Phoenix. Phoenix! 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 Of course it was! But like... okay. You mean I carried the victim's body? Precisely so. But wait, even you know, I didn't plan on returning to my office. After the ceremony finished that day. Yeah, Sky called you, but you did return. Tell me why. I was asked to go by Chief Gant, no less. He told me he wanted to keep it here in the prosecutor's office. In any case, of the day of the stabbings, I brought this back here. So now the screwdriver's in play. So you see, what you were really taking to the prosecutor's office wasn't the screwdriver, but the victim's body in your trunk. So the screwdriver wasn't the murder weapon. I really wanted it to be the Blue Badger. Sorry, just pause. Just quick pause. Time out. Imagine the image of Gant tying the... This is going to be a very dark image, by the way. Anyway, putting the body on the Blue Badger and then just wheeling him out into the car. Again, I overcomplicated it. I should have just thought of the car moving, but I was thinking how he would have gotten the body to the car. When we all can assume Gant is a large man, he could carry a body. Detective Goodman's body was carried in the trunk of Mr. Edgeworth's car. Yes, unless, of course, you have another explanation, Chief. Why else would you have asked Mr. Edgeworth to transport evidence from a closed case? There's only one plausible explanation. To transport the body to your accomplice, Miss Lana Skye. Order? What's going on here? Is there no room for rebuttal to the defense's outrageous accusations? Think back to the photograph Miss Starr took at the prosecutor's office. This was not a photo of the body being stuffed in the trunk to be taken away. It is exactly the opposite. It's a photo of the body being taken from the trunk. Chief Gant, please say something. I believe your time's up. My time's up? Sorry, Rado, but I'm having lunch with the District Attorney General after this. We have to get going if we were to make in time for the early bird special. But the cross-examination isn't finished yet. Remember what I told you. A police chief has all kinds of weapons at his disposal. Okay, I just want to know when that kicks in. Weapons? Like the rats who refuse to testify, I'm invoking that right now. What? That's not a right to be casually invoked. There are certain risks to be considered. So you're going to just run away after all this? Run away? Don't make me laugh, Worthy. I stabbed old Goodman, that's what you're saying, right? But if you had any conclusive evidence, you would have presented it by now. Well, You think I had Lana dispose of the body? If so, then show your proof and get it over with. I'll say it again, Mr. Wright. Damon Gant is the current chief of police. This court will not tolerate any accusations against him without concrete proof. Well, Mr. Wright, Your Honor, do you have any concrete proof? Proof that Chief Gant murdered Detective Goodman and made Skye dispose of this body. Do I have any concrete proof? So this could be evidence used for call mate to Emma to check the muffler. Can I open it? Read down number. It's just the last person that was called. It wasn't necessarily the contact list or who or incoming calls, right? So that's one because it was found in the muffler. Found at the crime scene wrapped in the defendant's muffler. Traces of spray. Yeah, we could have used that potentially. The floor record to show because it was blood, but like it doesn't really tie him because of course he'd be wearing gloves. That's really not a thing to put on. I'm gonna say yes, and I'm gonna say the phone call. I'm gonna also save because fear. I can't let him just squirm his way out of this. I've got to keep the pressure on. Yes, Your Honor, I do have such evidence. Then please hurry up and present it. Just remember, it better prove Chief Gatmer Detective Goodman beyond a shadow of a doubt. So, what exactly is this evidence? It's proof as to whether or not it's enough to demonstrate the Chief's guilt. I'll let you be the judge. Oh, fuck, it's not. I am the judge. Beyond a shadow of a doubt. Why is there a rubber glove in the SL9 case? Just checking, just checking. Okay. Might be the murder weapon? Because he was the only one in that room, right? That's the only piece of evidence that was... Because evidence hasn't moved from that room. And if Lana was in the office the whole time, you know what? It's proof. No, it's not. No, this doesn't tie it to today. Traces of victim's blood, no prints. Victim's memo found in the trunk. Again, this doesn't tie Gant. It's just the victim typing like what he needs. Or what case he's trying to get rid of. Bears traces of blood from Goodman and Lana Sky. Oh, what? Really? We can do this? What is the point? Well, the screwdriver's not going to be it, but I do want to just test it. Nope, so it's not the screwdriver. I don't recall this one. My only guess would be the blood on Thing's locker. Nope. That's not this one. Oh, what? Load. One knife wound, died within an hour and a half of 4 p.m. Parking lot with Edward's car. I don't know what could tie him to the murder, unless it was Edward's knife, but Edward's knife doesn't matter because Sky's the one that used to stab him with. This was incorrect because it was, you know, not there. I don't know why this would be involved. Well, I mean, this is a pretty good proof because Goodman's the only one that could open it, right? Nope. Ugh. Okay. Trophy, that's the only thing that comes to mind. Trophy's not a bad guess. No, it's not the trophy either. Oh, Neil with the trophy, so the... It's proof. I am the judge. Well, what do you think, Your Honor? Nope. Interesting. I want to see if I can make sense of it before I, like, you know, charge through it. This one eludes me. That's okay. List of evidence. Not needed. These are not needed, I don't think. So I messed up from my 2 hours with Blue Badger that I can't remember much else. Yeah, you were too scarred with having to do all of that. Nope. Okay. I'm gonna push this through. I'm gonna have to just muscle it. Are you sure it's not the phone call? That's so interesting how it's not the phone call. Not that either, yeah. My only guess is the floor plan with the blood stain. But that blood stain is not being accepted. The Blue Badger? You know what? Why not? Unless I can say I don't have concrete proof yet. I want to try the Blue Badger, and then I'll say I don't have concrete proof. Because it's giving me the choice to not, right? Just because. Nope. Okay, it's not. So, okay, this is why I saved beforehand. I'm going to say I have no proof yet. We have both saves. He's only showing evidence I'm not sure of myself. No, Your Honor, at present I have no conclusive evidence. See, Urgy? In that case, this court is forced to penalize you for allegations against the chief. What? Here's a tip. Never gamble what you can't afford to lose, Righto. It seems that Lady Luck was on my side again today. Okay, Urgy, I'll leave the rest to you. Wait, really? I warned you earlier, Mr. Wright. This is an affront to a senior officer of the nation's law enforcement agency. What? Lady Luck, Maybe we should have a word with her. Mr. Edgeworth, what do you mean? There's one lady who knows the real truth behind this trial. We haven't yet had the honor of hearing her testimony. A lady who knows the truth? Another witness? In the absence of conclusive evidence, the only other method of proof is testimony. But Chief Gant has invoked his right to refuse to testify. There's still someone else, one more witness who can answer all the questions. Raised in this trial is someone right in this very room. Mr. Edgeworth, who is this person? Why are you asking me, Your Honor? Have you forgotten? The defense is the one calling the witnesses today. Save file 3 just in case. She learned the truth. But we can't just stop now. Okay, so now I'll call Lana. The defendant, Miss Lana Sky. She was in the underground parking lot at 5:15 p.m. on February 21. Her task to dispose of the victim's body, in accordance with a certain someone's orders. Mr. Edgeworth, the prosecution has no objections, Your Honor. Alright, cool. Cool. Very well, the court will now take its final recess for the day. In 15 minutes, we will reconvene to hear the defendant's testimony. This court is now in Hold on. Huh? Chief Gant? I thought you were going to eat. I'm going to save. If Lana hands out even a smidge of a clue, then you can nail down Gant as the killer. Yeah, if Sheep testifies, then we're good. Listen good, Lana. He's talking to Lana. I don't think you need me to tell you this, but if you accept Mr. Rat's claims, there will be terrible consequences. He's like, he can't be talking to her like this. Your sister will be found guilty for Neil Marshall's murder. This isn't good. Of course, you'd never support such outrageous claims anyway, right? Just something to think about. Alright then, I've got a lunch date to meet. So yeah, he just openly... Okay, if there aren't any further objections, this court is now in recess. Okay, so Lana's not going to testify. Or it's going to be hard to get Lana to testify. Whew, okay. Looks like we managed to stay in the game. Yeah. Thanks to your help, Edgy. He's threatening her by using his sister as bait. What a nasty guy. I know, but like, imagine that. Just threatening her out in the open inside of a courtroom, no less. Chief, he's something else, eh, pals? Detective Gumshoe. I'm not a detective anymore. Oh yeah, sorry about that. Don't worry, I've already decided where to work now. At your office. My office? Sure, I'll take the place of that top-knotted girl you used to work with. Could he mean Maya? If you did that around here, you'd be jailed in mere seconds. I know, or at least, like, warned by the judge. Still, looks like we're all out of moves now. Chief Gant's done it again. How is it he always gets the upper hand? It's not fair. He has the right to refuse to testify. Settle down, Wright. Remember what the judge said. That Chief, that is not a right to be casually invoked. There are certain risks to be considered. Risks? What do you mean by that? It's simple. If the Chief refuses to testify, the opposite also holds true. You mean he forfeits his right to say anything too? Oh! Hi! I hope you're okay, daughter. Are you okay? Yeah, when I came to, I was in the medical office. I've been listening to the trial from the gallery. So she heard everything that's been going on. Good. Emma, I'm sorry for what I said before. No, don't be. It was the truth. You know, it's funny, I almost feel somehow relieved. Relieved? Yeah. Now I finally know what really happened. To think all this time, my sister was being blackmailed by that terrible man. And she did it all just to protect me. Ever since her appointment as chief prosecutor, everyone who knew her said she changed. Fun fact, Emma's a reskin of Maya. Yeah, it looks very clear. The game didn't try to hide it either. They were like, why do they look the same? Wow, perhaps it was easier way for her. What do you mean? What do you think I mean? To follow Chief Gant's orders. She must have shut herself up deep inside. To force herself to do anything and everything the Chief told her to do. That must be why she became so cold. It was all my fault. It's all because I murdered Mr. Marshall. Hey, don't go blaming yourself now. Nope, just a blatant reskin, really? If you want to blame anyone, blame society, pal. Chief Gant may be able to fool everyone else with his forgery, but he can't fool my memory. I remember now. I knocked Mr. Marshall into that armor. I see. Well, we better get back. It's time for the final... Oh, it's time for the final act! Emma, why don't you wait here? No, I'm going with you. I want to be there when Lana tells the truth. Let's go, Wright. It's time to end this. Interesting. They really couldn't give a fuck. They're just like, alright. Even the movement and everything are the same as Maya. I mean, Emma's a pretty close name as well. Was there a reason why they did it? Or was it supposed to be Maya on the stand today, but then they couldn't picture that story or have that make sense, especially with the intro story? Now then, will the defendant, Miss Lana Skye, please take the stand? Just being lazy. Being lazy is hard to say, especially in a game like this. You know, there's a lot of, like, art to get through and things to push with as well, especially with animations and stuff having to be good. Imagine how long it would have taken just to make up a new character. It's probably just crunch. Or laziness. Honestly, I have no proof to say either way. Miss Lana Skye, you are the chief prosecutor. I'm sure you're aware of what is required of you. But Mr. Edgeworth, you already know everything. You know all that I've done these past 2 years. This chapter was added to the DS version to the game after it started in the GBA. Oh! Oh, so the Edgeworth story was the Game Boy Advance finish. And this is the... Oh, interesting. Oh, I never knew, because I always thought that this game was just a DS game. And not a remake for the DS. Fun! Please provide the court with your testimony, Miss Skye. And remember, you are under oath. We want to hear the truth. That's why it's kind of a hidden chapter. Interesting. Of course, the truth. Lana, no matter what happens, I'll always be your sister. Now then, your testimony, if you will. First, tell us about your relationship with Chief Gant. Everything hinges on your testimony. You're the only one we can have to get... You're the only chance we have to get Gant. Oh, so they probably rushed having to reskin and remake Maya to make Emma so that they can release this in time for the DS release. That makes a lot of sense. I worked alongside Gant for years. There's no truth to this blackmail theory. I fabricated the evidence 2 years ago all by myself. When I found Prosecutor Marshall's body, I rearranged the crime scene. I'm pretty sure that was the case. It does make sense. My only motivation was to get Dark convicted. It had nothing to do with Emma. Are you sure about this testimony? Your Honor, I'm confessing to a capital offense. Of course I'm sure. But Lana... If this is true, then that means Chief Gant has nothing to do with this. That's what I've been telling you from the beginning. Please, Mr. Wright, you've got to help her. She's sacrificing herself because of me. But what if she's telling the truth? She's not. I know my own sister. How can she read our minds? Whenever she's speaking stiffly like that, she's hiding something inside. Deep down, she's really screaming in agony. Yeah, this is no time to start second-guessing myself. The defense may now begin its cross-examination. Okay. Let's do this. How many years exactly? Ever since I made a senior detective. Let's see, I was 24 then, So that would be 5 years. Detective Gant and Detective Sky were legendary partners. I personally saw them testify in numerous cases. She must have been good coming from the same school as Mia. Damon Gant was a respectable detective. That's why. Was. But think about it, Miss Sky. You didn't murder Detective Goodman. I think they added the chapter to show off the DS features now that I'm thinking about it. It does make sense, because everything you can check and turn and twist. And you had the powder and the spray. Like, the touchscreen features were a big time for it. In the other cases, you could only just look at something if it was like a static image. And I doubt the Game Boy would have had that way to animate the whatchamacallit, the videotape in the evidence room. You told me as much as yesterday in jail. You still don't get it, do you, Mr. Wright? Any testimony you cannot present in court is as useless as idle gossip. I stabbed Detective Goodman with a knife. And I fabricated the evidence 2 years ago all by myself. Did you do so to help your sister? Joe Dark was a serial killer. My sister almost became his last victim that day. I didn't want that incident to ruin her life. But what she did was justifiable self-defense. She wouldn't have been charged with anything. That's not the point. She was traumatized that day all because of that creep. That's why I couldn't forgive him. Anna. So that's why you fabricated the evidence 2 years ago. That doesn't make sense. You say you did this all by yourself? Yes. Would you mind telling us what you found when you arrived at the crime scene? It seems I was the first person to discover the scene. The broken prosecutor award knife was stuck in the victim's body. There's the lie! What? But Prosecutor Marshall died from an unfortunate accident. That's only the situation you dreamed was possible. The reality is, it wasn't my sister who took the prosecutor's life. Fantasize all you want, Mr. Wright, but I'll never change this statement. You mean, Prosecutor Marshall wound up being killed by Dark. Something like that. If that is so, what happened to the murder weapon? Dark was carrying a switchblade knife. Oh, that was lying on the floor a little distance away. So which knife was inside? It was probably knocked away in the struggle. That's not how it went down. She's trying to cover up her lies with more lies! All just to protect me. So when you found the scene like this, what did you do? After all, this is what everything boils down to. So what did you do with the weapon? You planted the tip of Dark's knife into the wound, and then you moved the body? But why would you do that? You of all people should know, Edgeworth. You've always had a good head on your shoulders. My head isn't that bad, but maybe I had to ask for the sake of others. Like, there's no reason to break off the knife and move the body if it was already in the position that you believe, right? But why did you do that? Come now, Mr. Wright, even you should be able to figure it out. Very well, let's add this to the witness's testimony. The reason Miss Sky fabricated the knife. I knew the tip of the weapon found buried in his body would be all the proof we needed. I'm gonna ask for the body question now. When you showed up on the scene, where exactly was the victim's body? It was where you deducted it was, by Chief Gant's desk. But the body was found by your desk. Why did you move it there? The reason for that is simple. Let's have the witness explain in more detail the reason Miss Sky moved the body. Cool. The piece of the jar that shattered during the events threatened my plan. Pieces of the jar, you mean? Yes, that wretched jar you showed us earlier. In order to show that Drake committed the crime. I felt it would be more expedient to move the body. So, when you first found the body, the jar was already... course it had been shattered to pieces. If you look at the crime scene, it would already be clear right away what happened. So what explains the blood, then? Neil Marshall was dead, and Drake was Dark was lying unconscious. In other words, the jar must have been broken during their struggle. What's the matter, Emma? Apparently the jar shattered at the time the crime was committed. But I have a feeling there is more to it than that. How would he have written Emma to it if the jar was broken? Anyway, I committed this fabrication completely alone. My only motivation was to get Dark convicted. That had nothing to do with Emma. Okay, I'll press it anyway. You sure you didn't do this to keep Emma from looking like the murderer? How many times do I have to tell you, Mr. Wright? Emma didn't do it, period. Are you so desperate to hide that fact? You're willing to ask to risk the death sentence. She did it, so I wouldn't be blamed for what happened. In any case, as prosecutor, what I believe is unpardonable. There's nothing I can do to make for my actions. She insists she fabricated the evidence by herself. There's no way she could have done it alone. If she's lying, then she's bound to slip up and make a contradiction. So, hold on. Is she saying Neil's the one who killed it, or Emma was the one who killed it? Because I'm so confused. What crime are you fabricating at this point? It makes no sense. Miss Guy, I understand how you feel. You committed the crime 2 years ago to protect your sister. You mean the forgery of the scene where Neil Marshall was murdered. If that truth were to be exposed now, the past 2 years of your life will have been in vain. Even so, I am compelled to bring this to everyone's attention. A significant contradiction within your testimony. Contradiction in my testimony? You testified, and I quote, "The pieces of the jar that shattered during the events threatened my plan." That's right. Do you have a problem with that? This is simple oversight, really. You see, a message was written on the jar with the victim's blood. Yes, the prosecutor must have written it in his final moments. Exactly so, and this is where the contradiction lies. In order for the victim to be able to write his message on the jar, it must not yet have been broken before he died. He couldn't have written Emma's name on a shattered jar. Your Honor, it would appear more information is needed in regards to this jar and its bloody message. We may be missing something critical here. Chief Prosecutor, it seems you were as in the dark as we are about the truth towards which we are headed. What? Just tell us exactly what you saw. We'll piece together the information to arrive at the truth. Very well, the witness may now continue her testimony. Save, baby! Okay, we're good, we're good. I immediately noticed the blood traces on the jar, but it was dark in the room and I didn't have time to check it out. To be safe, I wiped away the blood. The fragments there were large, so I'm sure I got them all. All I could think about was wiping them clean before they were discovered. You mean you were the one who wiped away the message in blood? It wasn't Chief Prosecutor. I wasn't the Chief Prosecutor at the time. She didn't think Dark was the real murderer. That's why she tried to erase the real evidence. Very well. The defense may now begin its cross-examination. Alright, let's press. So the jar was already broken. It's a miracle that thing hadn't broken earlier. It certainly looks as feasible as the defense's case, but not as feasible as the judge's judgment. You were an ace detective who never missed a detail. Do you really expect us to believe you didn't investigate what was written on the jar pieces? Normally I would have. But it was dark in the room and I didn't have time to check it out. So you didn't know your sister's name was written on the jar? No. If I had known, I would have gathered all the pieces in the ground and ground them to dust. Well, that helps my case. How do you do that for me? It seems you two might make up yet. Anyway, I just barely had enough time to move the body as it was. If something happened upon the scene, you'd lose your chance to erase the evidence. You must have been in a hurry. I was. I knew I had to destroy the evidence before anyone came. This is rather shocking. I'm afraid this action of yours reveals what really happened. Let me just see. Do we have a... We don't have the blood on the actual room. What do you mean? If you really thought Dark killed Prosecutor Marshall, you wouldn't have wiped away the blood. What else could I have done in that situation? Lana, I only had a few moments. There wasn't enough time for me to do anything else but gather up the pieces. I have the evidence? The fragments were large, so I'm sure I got them all. All I could think about was wiping them clean before they were discovered. But how could you see with the power out? It should have been pitch black in that office. The detective is always prepared, Mr. Wright. Even now I always carry a pocket light and a camera with me. Even I carry a bottle of emergency luminol wherever I go. I never miss anything and got every last piece. No, you didn't. If you had all the pieces, why was it stuffed in Gant's safe? Let's press everything. So you legally rearranged the crime scene. Yes, I don't have any excuses for my actions. I'm sorry, Lana, I didn't know. I treated you so badly all this time. It's not too late. There's still plenty of time to make up. After we got to the bottom of this incident. No doubt this day will leave a permanent stain on the history of the prosecutor's office. More contradictions to surface in her testimony. She's just really putting up a fight. She must really care about you. Still, she's not doing this the right way. We finally figured out the contradictions in her testimony. There's one final possibility that might turn everything around. Okay, I need to piece it together. So why does Gant have it? You've got this. Show the evidence. Miss Sky, I believe this jar conceals the truth even you were unaware of. We found the final piece of this jar in Gant's safe. In the chief's safe? But how? I really appreciate the support, Angelic Guardian. Thank you for the hype. I knew it. She really didn't know. There's something even more disturbing about the final piece. There was still blood on it. But the witness just testified that she gathered every last piece and wiped the blood off of them. Yeah, which leaves us with only one explanation. The night Prosecutor Marshall was... Oh, it was upside down! Oh, so that really was a G. Maybe I'm just being weird. On the night the Prosecutor Marshall was murdered, you were not the first one to show up to the scene. Chief Gant got there before you. But couldn't the defendant have simply missed a piece? I'm afraid that's unlikely. The pieces are too big for anyone to miss, let alone an ace detective. That may well be, but everyone makes mistakes. Even I once wasted an entire day. That sent chills down my spine. Looking for my... Have you forgotten, Your Honor? When this witness arrived at the scene, the jar was already broken. Oh, that. There's no way a name could have been written on a shattered jar. Another person discovered the scene prior to the witness. I hope you're not implying this person is Chief Gant at the time he was looking. At the time he was looking for Dark. The question is, if he did arrive the first, why did he hide the fact for 2 years? Well, Your Honor, can you answer us that? Whoa, we're critting the judge! Not quite. He doesn't have an animation for it yet, but not a huge crit. Wait, I'm not the one on trial here. Damon Gant arrived at the crime scene prior to the witness. He proceeded to break the jar. He proceeded to break the jar and purposely hid one of the broken pieces. Question, what is this action called? Fabrication of evidence. But why would Chief Gant do that? In light of what happened afterwards isn't clear. What happened afterwards? Discovering the scene, Lana Sky believed her sister Emma killed the victim. Determined to help her sister, she sought Gant's aid. High roll attack on the judge? We'll try! Let's get that good 20. Oh, speaking of roll, we have a thing for that on stream. Let's see if it works. I don't know if it's broken. Well, I rolled a 2. If you do exclamation roll, that's a d20 roll. If you do exclamation hundo, That's a D100 roll. And I rolled a 3! Okay, so this is perfect. Exactly what I rolled when I was trying to do. Okay, a 10's good. But that 2 and 3 roll, that really matches my fucking, what do you call it? My my check with fucking the Blue Badger. Lending her his aid can't help to create evidence that incriminated Drake. Strong 10. Strong 10. Sparing Emma, and therein lies the reason... Oops. The reason why Miss Sky became the chief's puppet. Oh, she's biting her thumb. Crit! Please, sis, stop trying to protect the chief. I can't watch you suffer for my mistake. For my sake. We do not speak of the Blue Badger incident. I mean, the BB3 or BB20. I don't know. Blue Badger incident. You didn't. No, you didn't. It wasn't you, Emma. You didn't kill anyone. Don't believe anything Mr. Wright says. Defense attorneys make up the most foul lies to defend their clients. It was literal hell. Foul lies? Imagine that coming from my own client. I guess you do seem the type who likes to twist the truth. Wait a minute. What if... We're still smack dab in the middle of Gant's trap. Is something wrong, Mr. Wright? Lana may be right after all. What do you mean, right? So, you do tell foul lies then, Mr. Wright. Not that one, Emma. Miss Sky, please testify once more. But, if evidence is fabricated behind your back, then Emma's accidental killing of Prosecutor Marshall might also be a lie. But, I do remember knocking over Mr. Marshall. Miss Sky, if you will. I can't. There's nothing to be afraid of anymore. This cross-examination may not change a thing. However, there is a possibility that it will if you tell the truth. Very well. I'll testify about what I really saw. Alright, the witness may testify once more for the final time. Oh boy. We are getting there. When I arrived, found Mr. Marshall's body impaled on the suit armor's sword. Bang! Emma and Doc were lying unconscious on the floor nearby. When I saw what happened, I thought she did it. That's why I erased the evidence that linked her to the murder. I had Chief Gant help me remove the body from the sword and carry it. But if it all really was a fabrication, Emma might be innocent. There we go. Getting the Chief Gant's lies. Unbelievable. The body was impaled on the armor's sword. You were the only one who saw that. If only you had proof. Actually, I do have proof. I gave it to Mr. Wright just this morning. What? To me? It's a picture I took of the crime scene as I encountered it. I thought it might be needed. But I don't remember receiving a picture like that. Dog, it's in the book! See, Mr. Wright, she really does have faith in you. Look carefully. Very well, Mr. Wright, please present this picture. I don't remember receiving any pictures from Lana. Lana said she gave it to you this morning, right? I seem to remember getting them from her then. Let's check out the evidence. Oh, now we can open it. Now it just doesn't show the thing. That's a really cute, like, duck. Damn. Hey, there's a picture here. We weren't allowed to see this earlier. This is the actual crime scene. No other detective saw the crime scene like this. Because I contacted Criminal Affairs only after I had rearranged everything. Crime scene taken from the foot case 2 years ago. Yep. Mr. Wright, that piece cut out from his vest. Could that be? The cloth found inside Gant's safe. Oh! No cloth. Why is he bleeding from the mouth? Blood, stab wound. Okay. What's this? Yeah, and that's why it has Emma's fingerprints on it, because she pulled it. He got stabbed. I guess stabbing... Yeah, he did get stabbed in the lungs. That makes it so he would cough up blood. Sorry. Ethan's handprint, isn't it? That cloth, it had fingerprints on it. Whose fingerprints those are must be the real murderer. What? But those fingerprints, they're yours, Emma. Why are your lips turning all purple, Mr. Wright? Anyway, let's go on with the cross-examination. So long as you tell the truth, we should be able to flush out the real murderer. Very well, the defense may now begin its cross-examination. Mr. Marshall's body impaled in that suit of armor. Oh, what's up, Gant? Come now, Udgy. You can't keep... This is, like, unprofessional of you. This is the poorest excuse for a child I've ever seen. Chief Gant. What, now you want to make me out as the bad guy, too? So, if so, I'd like to put in a word or two in my defense. I'm afraid it's too late for that. What? You already declined to testify. That means you forfeited your right to make statements of any sort. This must be the risk you were talking about earlier. Just sit back and relax, and enjoy the sound of your noose tightening around your own neck. GG! Crit! Crit, 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 crit. Ah, so what? You think I'm worried? Sorry to disappoint you, but I don't need to make any statements. What do you mean? Edward got sass. Evidence will do all the talking for me. Even if I can't testify, I can still present evidence. Gant's hairstyle is an Oreo milkshake. That's fucking facts. It's got a little hint of the, what is it that people do in America? I can only think of Shrek. It's not the Shrek shake. The Shamrock shake. Straight up, it is an Oreo milkshake. Also, hi. Is it Jengedi? Jengedi 360? Sorry the pronunciation. Welcome to the stream. We're about to finish and solve this case, hopefully. And thank you, Streamlabs. The audio is fine. Yes, that's true. Wait, you mean you still have some conclusive evidence? No, I don't, but someone does. Someone? So, what's your excuse, Rado? Why have you been keeping quiet about it? You do have something to show us, Rat. Something that proves who knocked over Neil Marshall causing his death. Conclusive evidence that leaves no room for doubt. This is true, Mr. Wright. If I show that piece of evidence now, I'm sure to be made out as the murderer. Mr. Wright, if you have any more evidence, present it now. And if you try to conceal anything, you'll be on appearing before the Board of Inquiries. What do I do now? Better think this through carefully. I can't afford to make the wrong decision. Should I present that piece of evidence? The one that shows who really killed the prosecutor Marshall? Well, we have to show the evidence. We're not gonna do anything wrong, right? This game has taught us that we shouldn't be hiding shit. Yes, Your Honor, I do have further evidence. Alright, the time's finally come to show it to them. Those prints have got to be the Chief's. Now then, let's see this conclusive evidence. The evidence that shows who actually murdered Marshall. It's a piece of leather cloth. Poor Emma. Yeah, most likely it was cut from the victim's vest near his chest. What's this? There's a big handprint on it. Surely it must have been left by the cloth by whoever shoved the victim into the sword. What? Whose fingerprints are on this? I'm sure Rado has checked, haven't you? Well, whose are they? They're Miss Sky's. Miss Emma Sky. What? They're mine? So I really did do it. See, I told you it was conclusive. But this was found in your safe. That means it's possible you forged it. I don't know about what you're talking about. What? I don't remember any cloth in my safe. Do you really expect me to believe that? But... give it up, Mr. Wright. It's over. You should have presented that. By presenting that evidence, you tie Emma Sky to Neil Marshall's death. No. It appears we have our killer. No. No! Okay, did I fuck up? Everything hinged on that. In the end, Lionel was alone. Damn, I did fuck up. So I have to hide it? Your Honor, I don't have any evidence I can present at this point in time. What? You lie. Chief Gant, you opened my safe. I know you took what was inside. The conclusive evidence. I don't know what you're talking about. Mr. Wright, why don't you show them? We found it. Oh, I see. It's because you know the truth, don't you? You know whose fingerprints are on it. That's why you won't present it. What are you talking about, Chief Gant? Can't you figure it out? Take a good look at this picture. See the victim's vest? Notice anything odd about the chest area? It looks like part of it's been cut out for some reason. You mean you had this in your safe? What? That means the Chief of Police. You've been concealing evidence. This is going to be the biggest scandal in the history of the police department. So we had to conceal it. Impressive. To be honest, I didn't think you had the gall, Rado. Well, I can't just let you pin me up as the murderer. I'll tell you what really happened. What? You mean you admit to it? I'm so confused. I was the first person to arrive at the crime scene that day. It then occurred to me that I could use the situation to control Lana. So you really were manipulating her. I knew Lana. If I made it look like the blame lay with her sister, that when she saw the scene, she would ask me for my aid. So you assisted Miss Sky. I told her to arrange all the evidence. I heard her plant the knife tip in the victim's body and move the body across the room. And I ended up using that evidence to get Joe Dark convicted. When I tampered with the crime scene, I had 2 pieces of evidence. This was before Alana arrived at the scene, mind you. 2 pieces of evidence? You mean those items in your safe? But why? For insurance, of course. Insurance? I was sure my plan would work, but it's always best to be prepared for the worst. I wasn't about to let anyone blame me for a murder that girl committed. You mean you were calculating that far ahead while forging the evidence? What do you take me for, a fool? I don't make the police chief by dumb luck. See this jaw fragment? I hit the most legible part of Emma's name. I didn't expect Lana to go and wipe the blood of all the pieces. But if you fabricated all the evidence, what's to say you didn't fabricate the message on this jar too? Ho ho ho! Some people just don't know when to quit, do they? That's why I kept one more item for insurance. You mean the piece of cloth? Come on, Rado, cough it up already. I know you have it. What are you waiting for, Mr. Wright? So you admit to it then, Chief Gant, that you were hiding the cloth to cut off the victim's vest into your safe. Yes, I admit it. I didn't want to have to do that, being chief and all. But it's a lot better than being portrayed as a murderer. Well, Mr. Wright, what do you have to say for yourself? Just a moment ago you said you didn't have any evidence that you could present. Foolish move, Rado. You should have shown it then before it was too late. It's been a long battle. But the moment of truth has finally arrived. As long as I don't mess up his victory. As long as I don't mess up here, victory is mine. Now I'm scared. I gotta go to save 3. Show evidence now? No, it's too late to show the evidence now. Besides, even if I did, it just exposed that poor girl's fingerprints. Right. Think hard over the circumstances. The circumstances? I'm talking about then and now. There's one major difference between the two. Weren't you waiting for that difference? So Edward figured out my plan. Okay. Smart. Thanks, game. Okay. Show the evidence. Your Honor, I do have the evidence to present now. Alright then, let's see this conclusive evidence. Evidence shows who actually murdered Marshall. Maybe I'm not supposed to show the cloth. Am I supposed to show the cloth? Let me verify this once more. On the day of the crime, you personally cut out this piece of the victim's vest. Oh yes, at last you finally brought it out into the open. There's a handprint on this piece of cloth. Your Honor, the prosecution requests that immediately be sent to the lab for analysis. This handprint on the leather. There must have been a strong impact for it to be left so clearly. You mean? It could not have been forged. It must be authentic, conclusive evidence. Think about it. Rato had all this time to present this evidence. Yet he was reluctant to do so. Why would that be? You mean you already know? You know whose fingerprints are on that. Mr. Wright, do you really know? Whoever the fingerprints belong to must be the real murderer. Whose fingerprints are they? Very well, I'll tell you. It should be okay now. Everything's proceeding as predicted. Emma? Emma Sky? What? They're mine? I'm sorry, Emma, but why? Why didn't you tell me? Oh, 3 hits! You're really something, Rado. You knew this girl did it all along, and you still tried to pin the murder on me. So it's true, tragic but true. So this girl really did shove Prosecutor Marshall to his death. How could you? You monster! Miss Sky, you knew whose fingerprints those were all along, yet you acted like she really didn't. Miss Sky, it's not over yet. What? I said this trial isn't over yet. But I'm afraid it's over, boy. Not only this trial, but your career too. You purposely concealed this conclusive evidence. That, my friend, is a serious offense. I'm looking forward to pressing charges after the defendant is convicted. I'll have your badge, boy. What's the matter? Cat got your tongue? Aren't you going to tell us how it feels? How it feels to be the one who single-handedly turned a poor little girl into a murderer? Before I do that, there's just one little thing I have to clear up. Oh, and what's that? Who really killed Prosecutor Neil Marshall? What? Chief Gant, you're absolutely right. This piece of cloth proves who the real murderer is. Who killed Neil Marshall, you ask? It was Emma Sky, wasn't it? I'm afraid that's not possible. You see, this piece of cloth contains a critical contradiction. What, a contradiction? What's this fool babbling about? I'm talking about a contradiction, one that proves who the real killer is. Phoenix, I'm not on the same page! Mr. Wright, this piece of cloth, what could it possibly contradict? Chief Gant, your tyrannical reign ends here. Behold, the piece of evidence that contradicts this cloth. What? Okay, now what the fuck do I even... What's the... I see the cloth was cut out, so that was obviously after thing has figured it out, but I don't see the knife being stabbed through. And this is the only piece that Gant doesn't know about. And what exactly this is supposed to be? This is the picture Miss Sky took. Take a good look at it. I'll take a good save as well. A good old college save. See where the piece of cloth was, where the piece of his vest was cut out? Yes, his shirt is showing underneath. It's hard to make out with all the blood on his vest, though. Exactly my point. His chest is soaked with blood. That's only natural. His lungs, no doubt, were punctured, blood poured out of his mouth. Oh, but that piece of cloth. Oh yeah, why is there no blood on it? Interesting. Wait, there's no blood on it. Since Emma Sky's fingerprints are on this cloth, there's no doubt that she shoved the prosecutor aside. However, Mr. Marshall was not impaled on the sword at the time. No, this is nonsense. Now then, Chief Gant, let me ask you something. Prosecutor Marshall was not impaled when he was shoved aside. He most likely hit his head on the ground and was knocked out. If so, then tell me, who could it have been? Who could have arrived at the scene before Miss Lana Sky? Picked up the unconscious prosecutor and impaled him on the armor's sword. Then, make it look like Emma was responsible for the prosecutor's death. Said person proceeded to write her name on the jar with the victim's blood. A jar that they then broke on purpose to leave behind a clue. And make Lana believe her sister did it. Remember what you admitted only moments ago? That you personally cut out this bloodless piece of the victim's vest. Ironic, isn't it? Though the very act of creating insurance, you proved that you were the actual murderer. Crit! Big crit. It's finally over. Woo! Objection. That was close, Rado. You almost had me. Sorry, but you'll have to do better than that. I refute your allegations. What do you mean you refute his allegations? You see, that piece of cloth is illegal evidence. No, it's not. Super effective electric type must be a Gyarados. What nonsense is this? Illegal evidence cannot be used as to convict a suspect. Remember, Uji? Earlier, old Rado here concealed that piece of cloth. Your Honor, I don't have any evidence I can present at this point in time. Oh yeah, because it wasn't related. Well, that's true. The defense did refuse to present evidence. At that moment, that piece of cloth ceased to be illegal evidence. But that's not fair. Ho ho ho. Did you actually think you could beat me in court? Looks like that last laugh's only on you, son. No, it's not. We had to prove that it was time. I'm afraid Mr. Gant's claim is legally correct. No, it's not. Right? No evidence shall be shown without the approval of the police department. Fact. Unregistered evidence presented must be relevant to the case on trial. I guess it was relevant to the case on trial. Well, Mr. Edgeworth, true, illegal evidence cannot be used to convict a person. Assuming, of course, that the evidence is indeed illegal. Well, Mr. Wright? It seems at last that I'm going to make one more save. Number 5. The time for me to reveal my plan has finally arrived. Mr. Wright, do you admit to it, that you purposefully and illegally concealed this piece of evidence? I did not. Right. Fuck. It's me just trying to figure out Wright's thinking. I admit I refused to present it at one point. So the evidence is illegal. No, it isn't, Mr. Gant. It's not that I didn't present the evidence then. It's that I couldn't. What do you mean you couldn't? There are certain procedures involved when presenting evidence. No, Uji, don't listen to his lies. He's nothing but a coward. There's only one issue left to be resolved in this trial. Is this evidence legal or not? Very well, let us settle this once and for all. Earlier you refused to present as evidence. If you can prove contradicted was not in violation of the law, then do so now. This is my proof, Your Honor. Evidence law. What's this? I've done my homework too, Chief. Indeed, Emma Sky's fingerprints were on this piece of cloth. However, at that point in time, this was merely a piece of cloth, nothing more. What? You see, it was written right here in the book, the second rule of evidence law. Rule number 1, no evidence shall be shown without the approval of the police department. I found this piece of evidence myself inside your safe. It goes without saying I did not have approval from the police department. Rule number 2, unregistered evidence presented must be relevant to the case on trial. And here's the crux of the matter. You see, at the time it was impossible for me to prove the relevance between the cloth and the SL9 incident. What kind of nonsense is this? You want relevancy, just look at this picture and... Sorry, but can you recall when that picture was presented? That was shown only a few moments ago. No, he's right. At the beginning of today's trial, that piece of cloth was still meaningless. The person who gave it a value as evidence was you, Damon Gant. You yourself confessed to a certain truth. Let me verify this once more. On the day of the crime, you personally cut out this piece of the victim's vest. Oh yes. No. It was then that you approved this cloth. Gant shot himself in the foot. God, thank God. We should shoot him somewhere else. Yes. You, the chief of police, personally approved of this cloth. Blah. The only person who could have cut this from the victim's vest is the one who stood before the prosecutor marshal in his final moments. Pause. I just got a text. Okay, I'm just gonna keep this here. When did she message me? 6 minutes ago. Okay. Hopefully we don't have to put a sudden end to the stream, but there might be some other pressing matters in real life that I might have to look to. Just letting you guys know. In other words, the real murderer, and there's only one person who that could be. Damon Gant. The killer was you. Jesus. Oh my lord. I knew I should have gotten rid of him. I knew I should have gotten rid of him. That good for nothing scum. For 2 years he's been snooping around the department trying to get something on me. Crimes are being committed every day, and yet he insisted on hounding me. I think he lost his sanity like you during the PP. True. Very true. Well, your crime wasn't exactly petty. He wanted to reinvestigate the case. He recruited Angel Star, then convinced Bruce Goodman. Detective Goodman? Yeah, that's right. If the evidence is transferred, I'll lose my only chance to find out the truth. Please, you've got to help me. Goodman turned him down, as he ought to. Still, Jake Marshall didn't know when to quit. He stole Goodman's ID card and tried to take the evidence. Goodman came to me that day. He wanted to file a lost item report. I went with him to the evidence room. Then all of a sudden, he decided to speak out. So we are learning about the case. What are you talking about, Goodman? Can you please... Sir, can you please reopen the investigation? Please. We can't transfer the evidence out. There are too many questions left unanswered. He opened his evidence locker, and as he was taking the evidence out, he said, "It's not too late. I'm going to hand all this over to Marshall." Well, to be honest, I was a bit taken aback by his words. I had a bad feeling when he came to see me, but I never thought he'd bring up SL9. That's when I saw it. That accursed knife. I couldn't just pull it out. Doing so would have only led more blood, making it near impossible to hide your crime. Even so, the blood was just pouring out. I didn't know who might stumble in, so I hurried to wipe it up. I was worrying so much about the floor I didn't realize my fatal mistake. The bloody handprint on Detective Gumshoe's locker. I was to be known as the crime computer. But everyone has to start somewhere, I guess. I was too nervous. I had no business doing any of it. And then you put the body in my car. I'm sorry I couldn't think of any other way to move the body. I broke your trunk, but what's the big deal? You make a lot more than us detectives ever will. Gah. Leaving the prosecutor's car aside? How? How could you get Miss Sky involved in all of this? Well, she had as much to lose as I did if the truth came out. So you took the evidence from Detective Goodman's locker. I felt bad for having to do it. I also didn't have the time to pick and choose what to take. So, you left the jar fragments in the glove. Yeah, it looks like I was better off being an investigator of crimes than a committer. Interesting. They all did their best to get in my way. I've got to hand it to them. They do their jobs well, much to my dismay. Fake evidence doesn't hold up very well upon close examination. Why does Edris look like a little kid who stayed up all night playing video games when he's mad? He really does. Like he couldn't beat a boss, so he's just frustrated at the screen. You must have known that. Tell me, Worthy, why do you stand in court? Me? You despise criminals. I can feel it. You and me, we're the same. One day you'll understand. Oh, believe me, you will. You're just one man. You'll see what it really takes to bring them down once you try to go it alone. Well, looks like it's time to say goodbye. Oh, Udgy? What? Looks like we'll have to cancel that lunch date. Sorry, old friend. I'm sorry too, Damon Gant. I knew you as you used to be, long ago. You were once a fine investigator and an example of others on the force. I'm sorry to learn that you are no longer that person. Those days are gone now, Udgy. Thanks for all the memories, though. Don't worry, you'll be fine. Now you have Rato here. And Worthy. With these two around, you can't go wrong. In fact, I can hear them already. The melodious... Oh, I keep skipping it. There are two things I want you to understand. Yes. First, your sister never hurt anyone. Second, Damon Gant betrayed you from the beginning. You see, Miss Sky, you no longer have any reason to keep silent. You're right. When this trial is over, I'll tell everything. And that I've done all that I've done these past 2 years. From the time I had Gant help me forge evidence up until today. So, it seems all the questions raised in this trial have been answered. I'm sorry, Miss Sky, I couldn't get you out of all your trouble. My. What high standards you have for a rookie. I can see why Mia thought so highly of you. Who knows? A few years from now, you just might make it to the top. A smile! I owe you my thanks, Mr. Wright. Miss Sky. And to you too, Mr. Edgeworth. You suffered every bit as much as I have over these past few days. Believe me, I know how much of an ordeal it's been for you. It was nothing. Liar. I was worried the pressure might break you. And yet, you rose above it all and guided Mr. Wright to victory. You've done well, Mr. Edgeworth. Stop it. I only did my job. In light of this case, it seems a good self-examining is in order for all of us. Miss Sky, yes, Your Honor. You are innocent of murder. However, although the chief blackmailed you, the fact is still you acted as his accomplice. A trial will be scheduled for these crimes at a later date. Yes, I understand, Your Honor. Is there something amusing about all this? Why are you smiling? It's been a long time, Your Honor. A long time since I felt free of those heavy chains. Well, this trial has gone on far too long already. Regarding the charge of murder, this court finds the defendant, Miss Lana Sky, That is all. This court is adjourned. Not guilty! Oh, we did it. February 25, 5:03 p.m. Defendant lobby. At long last, it's finally over. Emma? Why the long face? I'm sorry your sister didn't get completely off the hook, but at least she wasn't convicted for a murder she didn't commit. No, that's not it. Just now after the trial ended. I can see why Mia Fey thought so highly of you. I owe you my thanks, Mr. Wright. And to you too, Mr. Edgeworth. Oh, but she didn't say anything to Emma. You know, I did my best too, but Lana didn't say a single word to me. I hope I'm not interrupting anything, pals. Oh, guess I am. I'll come back later. Wait, Detective Gumshoe, what is it? You're doing this on purpose, aren't you? Making a detective run around all day while on duty. And to top it off, you call me here? I've seen happier people at funerals. Hey, lighten up, pals. I'm only kidding. Oh, you're here because of my sister again? Nope, not this time. I came today because of you, pal. Me? That's right. I thought you'd like to see someone. Lana. Should you be doing this? She's still under arrest, you know. Well, I won't tell if you won't. Emma, I owe you an apology. It's okay, sis. Don't worry about it. That day 2 years ago was the first time in my life I ever panicked. It was all I could do to keep myself from screaming. All I could think about was keeping you from getting wrapped up in all that mess. Sis. I asked Gad to help me cover up the truth. I thought I was doing it for your sake, but now I realized I was wrong. I changed after that day. I had to. It was the only way I could make it through the past 2 years. I knew how much I was hurting you by distancing myself, but I couldn't bring myself to tell you what I did. I was scared. Scared that you'd look at me with those eyes of yours. I was scared of how you'd react if you knew. But sis, you're only doing it for me. No, huh? I turned my back on you that day. In hiding what I believed to be the truth, I was deceiving you. Sis, I'm such a fool. It took me all this time to realize it. Emma, I'm so sorry. But sis, you don't have to apologize. I'm happy now. You're happy? Of course. You know, sis, I always knew that one day you'd come back. And now you have. Oh, Emma. Ding 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 ding. No one can change the past. The only thing that we can do is strive to make up for our mistakes. Why must we make up for our mistakes and skip the text so quickly? Because in doing so, we can find a way back to our rightful path. And it is from there that we can move on toward a brighter future. At least that's what I felt watching the two sisters make up. Mr. Wright, Mr. Gumshoe. Me? Thank you both for all that you've done. I'm sure we'll meet again someday. Isn't that right, Edgeworth? Edgeworth? Stop hiding and come over here. I wasn't hiding. Where was he hiding? I just came to say congratulations. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Edgeworth. Right. Well, I'll be going now. Edgeworth! Mr. Edgeworth, I hope you don't blame yourself for what happened. We were the ones who acted corruptly, not you. It's too late for me. No matter what anyone may say, I realize today that I can't correct my mistakes. Mr. Edgeworth. Not only that, but I don't even trust myself anymore. Chief Cat was right. You despise criminals, I can feel it. You and me, we're the same. One day you'll understand. Oh, believe me, you will. You're just one man. You'll see what it really takes to bring them down once you try to get it alone. Go at it alone. I do despise criminals. I plan to dedicate my entire life to fighting them. But in order to fight crime on my own, I needed a weapon. It's scary, but I've known that to be true for quite some time now. But Edgeworth, who knows? Given enough time, I might have tried to pull something like Chief Gant did. That thought terrifies me. That's why I can't continue on as a prosecutor. Edgeworth, don't you understand? Damon Gant and your mentor, Manfred von Karma, were both the best of the best when it came to fighting crime. But they both made the same mistake. You said in order to fight crime on my own, I need a weapon. I'd need a weapon. That may be true, but think back to today's trial. You weren't alone. You were working together with Mr. Wright. And because of that partnership, you were able to present evidence that otherwise would have gone undiscovered. Isn't that right, Mr. Wright? Huh? What? Oh, yeah. What is this, a pop quiz? Come on, Mr. Wright, show him what Lana's talking about. Evidence, huh? Something that neither Edgeworth nor I would be able to find on our own. That might mean something to you, but I don't see how it had anything to do with our partnership. Mr. Wright, it seems you have a lot to learn as well. It's time for me to go. No! What was it? Oh! Mr. Edgeworth. If you'll excuse me. Oh, I missed the thing, didn't I? Damn it. There's still some loose ends that need wrapping up. Take care, Chief Prosecutor. I'm okay with it, honestly. I'll search it up online. Edgeworth, what will you do now? Well, whatever you do, just remember, you can let what happened kill the prosecutor in you. What? You can let what happened kill the prosecutor in you, or you can let it help you grow. In the end, it's up to you. I know. It seems I owe you my thanks too, right? But what I face now is my problem. Edgeworth, I'll be waiting for you in court. Farewell. I'd better be going too. Okay, but I'll be by to visit soon. It seems we both have a lot to learn and catching up to do. Here, this is a little something for you. Scientific investigation? It's the first book I ever bought. Study it well. Thanks, sis. I will. And so another case came to a close. As for the sisters, I have faith. Faith that their lives have only just begun. And as for me, I think it's time I started a journey of my own. A journey to rediscover myself. Well, don't go checking off just yet, pal. Huh? What is it, detective? There's just a little matter to be resolved about the chief prosecutor. You see, she's supposed to be out of jail like this, but I thought you said it was okay. Yeah, well, it may be okay with me, but folks at the prison are a different story. Huh? Basically, I had to bribe a guard in order to sneak her out for 30 minutes. I believe me, it wasn't cheap either. Huh? Way to go, detective. I didn't know you had a wild side. Yeah, well, you see. Mr. Wright here's the one who'll be footing the bill. Huh? What? Do you think I could afford my salary? You gotta be kidding me, pal. Huh? Thank you, Mr. Wright. You're the best. Why is it? I suddenly feel like I want to scream. Hey, I got an idea. Why don't we all go pay it off together? Yeah, that's a great idea. Come on, guys. Let's go. Cute. Okay, I'm gonna just quickly pause this. Just give me a second. I'll let it play out. I'll let the... Okay, a lot is happening. Then, I'll be able to investigate crimes with Emma. Nice. Yeah, because I thought I was gone for a moment there in the end, though. They overlooked my unauthorized investigation of the chief's office. If we penalized you anymore, it'd be worse than firing you. Yep, that's what they said. Just goes to show, you can't shake me off that easily. My new mission is to guard the main entrance and take care of Billy. Can you believe it? I've been demoted to a security guard. My partner's keeping an eye on the entrance for me today. I'll show them, though. Someday I'm going to make a detective. Yes, sir. Then I can be just like that thick gumshoe. I'm gonna pause. I just need to end the stream now. What's happening? I forget what that young defense lawyer said after the trial. Let's see, what was his name again? Mr. Left? Anyway, he said he's been doing something or other for how many years? Well, anyway, I've got another trial to get to, so I'd better be... Huh? Oh no, I forgot my gavel. Sorry, gotta go. Spread planning, update customer details. Oh my god, it's all in a row as well. God damn it. Oh, Maya. Nothing soothes the soul like fresh country air. Still, sometimes I do miss hearing you and your objection. Still, I can't go back until I'm a full-fledged spirit medium. Mystical Maya, afternoon. Training's about to begin. Coming. Well, see you around, Nick. We finished a game! Let's add that to the spreadsheet. Oops. Mr. Edgeworth, I brought you your tea. What's going on? Did he resign? Let's see, how many hours did this take us? So about 4 hours today. Thanks for coming to see me. I can't believe I'm going to Europe. Thank you, Mr. Wright. Thank you so much for everything. I'm a little sad, but I'll be alright. Whenever I want to see Lana, all I have to do is open this book. A letter. Oh, that's really cute. That's really cute. When she first got into the forest, probably. Ding, ding, dun, dun. 2 plus 2.5 plus 2.5 plus 4 plus 3.5 plus 2.5 plus 3 plus 5 plus... How long did we take for today? Let's say 4. 29 hours. It took us 29 hours to complete Phoenix Wright. Not bad. I'm giving it, at least for now, a provisional 10. I really enjoyed it. All the stories, everything else. It was very flowing. I knew I would get some bumps and hiccups in terms of getting things right and wrong with the cases, but it's, you know, it comes and goes with this type of game, right? But yes, I'm going to end the stream here. Sorry for the abrupt end. Thank you everyone who came by. And Angelic Guardian, I know you can't see you're not here right now, but that's okay. Thank you so much for coming by. If ever you see the end of this VOD, it was very fun to have you and very fun to have someone nerd out about Phoenix Wright with me here and go through the final court case there. So I do appreciate your time and I do appreciate your enthusiasm and your support, especially with the Blue Badger there. What a struggle. God damn, what a struggle. And everyone else who came by, everyone else who followed today, Angelic Guardian, thank you again. And I guess we're going to stream tomorrow since it is a Tuesday, and we might do some Bloodborne. Maybe. We'll see. We'll see how we're feeling. Maybe tomorrow will be like a whatever kind of day, but for now, we should be all good. Alright, thank you everyone. Have a good evening. Please do take care of yourselves and yeah, have a good one. Bye now.